Welcome to the 15th episode of Talking ETV, and I'm here with two of my favorite people. So let them introduce themselves.
What's going on, y'all? I am Tamaj from Big Bro and Low Sis Reacts. Y'all know me. I'm a new Game of Thrones reactor, but mainly a Walking Dead universe reactor. That's mostly what people know me from.
Hello, Jack from Jack's World. I've done Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, podcasty type things before. Some have seen the light of day, some have not. But I am just excited to be here and check all this out and chat with you guys again.
I'm very excited. I hate introducing myself. I just be liking to talk. Like, everything is on my channel. Like, I hate doing that. Anyway, let's start. So, y'all, wait. Let me tell y'all something. So, me and Tamaj have finished season 5. Jack has completed the show. He has watched this show long before us. Weren't you watching it live when it was on TV?
I started watching live with season 6, I believe, but that's how I found reactions. I found the end of 5 on a reaction compilation channel and was very intrigued with how much people cared about the characters, so I started watching it, and I binged it in like a week and a half, and then I watched live from then on. And 7 and 8 are on my channel, I believe, unless 7's been copyrighted. So, you guys want to see those while you're waiting for them to catch up. Go check them out.
I forgot to say what I'm eating. This strawberry blueberry smoothie is so fucking good. Ignore my mise en place cup. If you know, you know. This smoothie is so good. Tamaj, what are you eating?
I'm eating blackened chicken Alfredo. And, of course, I got my strawberry lemonade that I blended with ice, lime juice, strawberry daiquiri mix, lemonade, and just a tad bit of strawberry Smirnoff. Because, you know, I like to drink.
Yeah, he gonna bring a beverage.
Always.
Big taco salad.
Taco salad sounds so good.
Some ale.
Very nice cup. I love it. Where do we start? Good old season 2.
Well, it starts off a little sour, given how 1 ended. Well, it had some very low lows in 1, but a few high highs towards the end, because you had the Dany storyline sort of finally reaching a mild conclusion with the loss of Drogo, but the birth of the dragons.
I feel like that was the first good milestone for the Daenerys storyline. Like, oh, she is the mother of the dragons. Like,
it's just suffering after that. To be fair, that's everybody.
Yes,
everyone's just suffering, and it never stops.
It's Arya on the run for me. That's the baby.
That has I don't think that happened much in 2.
Arya
because she was stuck at Harrenhal for the majority of 2. But that was
like every other episode.
In the end of 2 was when she left Harrenhal with Gendry, Hot Pie, and Jaqen. And then Jaqen, I just watched it again, but. I mean, they're characters that are talked about and that you see again, so it's understandable.
I don't even know their names.
Season 2, we get a bit more into the magical side of things too, because
which is where I got lost because I didn't even know there was magic in Game of Thrones, so I was floored every single time.
Yeah, because everything with Daenerys in Qarth was magical, and then we had the Red Woman with Stannis birthing out a demon baby and taking out Renly. And then we had the stuff with Jack and Hagar, who also love the fact that we have Game of Thrones alum in Stranger Things. He's in Stranger Things, and there's a character I don't know if you two have met yet that is also in Stranger Things that you may meet later. You probably won't recognize him though, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But the faceless,
let's do a whole section right now. Let's talk about all this magic because that did come in season.
That's where I'm going with it. I'm continuing with it. Because we also had Jack and Hagar with faceless stuff, which really confused me the first time I saw it, but was cool, so I wasn't like weirded out by it. But what else? And Wildfire. Our first introduction to Wildfire, which was absolutely horrifying.
What is that?
The green fire that Tyrion used at the Battle of Blackwater to blow up all the ships. Yeah. So the first season, though it seemed to have a decent budget, they decided to cut out. I don't want to say cut out because that goes with the assumption that they filmed them and then didn't put them in. But they chose not to include the battles at the end of season 1 with Robb initially fighting the Lannisters.
And I wanted
but
to
I,
see it.
Yeah, and I did
Me
too.
too.
And I think that was just a budget thing because then they really start showing a bit more of that as the seasons go on. We just see more and more battles, which is really nice. And I thought the Battle of Blackwater was really well done.
It was.
If they didn't have fire as a core component of it, I feel like it would have been like a lot of TV shows and movies that we've had recently where it's just been too dark for us to see. So having fire as a core component to that, I feel made it pretty easy to see everything and see what was going on. But other than I don't know if I would technically consider wildfire magic. You could, I guess, because it's an otherworldly type substance and element.
And it's green.
But
It's like-
yeah, so we have that. We have Jack and Nagar and the Faceless Men. We have the Red Woman or Red Priestess and the Lord of Light with the blood magic and all that, and the Demon Baby, and the House of the Undying with Khaleesi and in Karth that has all of the like David Blaine type shit going on.
Please talk
which
about
is-
the House of the Undying. I was so
Those
mad.
guys were so weird.
Yes.
And then the one guy that was doing so much just to sleep with her, and then just his whole arc just ends with him being locked in his empty vault that he claimed was so full of riches and wonders with the hoe he was sleeping with.
It's what
This
they
and-
was
deserve.
the dragons, right? And she had to go
Yeah.
down.
Well,
That's-
that ghostly looking guy took the dragons that
Yeah.
could duplicate himself.
No, every single time I had been saying it ever since her dragons were born. Stop leaving your fucking dragons. People have not seen dragons in hundreds of years, and you keep leaving them. Every time she left her dragons, I swear to God, stop leaving your dragons. Why are you leaving your dragons? Why are you leaving your dragons? Why do you leave your dragons? And then when somebody took them, I said, oh my God, now she got to go get the dragons. I was so mad.
I chopped it up to they didn't have the budget to keep showing them, so that's why they kept doing that. That was just in my head. So
Yeah.
I didn't complain.
I think that's fair because they were doing a lot of other stuff.
Mhm.
And it was newer. So I'm assuming as you guys have gotten further into the show and you've seen the dragons grow up a little bit, you've seen that they have started to look a bit better. The scenes interacting with them are a little bit rough at times, and I want to stand too, but like the scene in the fighting pits of Marine where she
Yeah.
hops on and like flat, that looks pretty rough green screen.
It wasn't.
At least
when she
it was.
started
It wasn't the worst, but as far as Game of Thrones go,
flying-
I usually have a bit higher standards when it comes to that because HBO has a much higher budget than a lot of other networks. But
Mhm.
other than that, I think that, yeah, the main reason they weren't showing them a lot was probably because of the budget, because they also were bouncing around with time quite a bit, because I believe the series as a whole, throughout its 8 seasons, takes place over about 6 or 7 years.
That's
So
it.
I think so, yeah. I could be a bit
Wow.
off on that, but I believe that now House of the Dragon is totally different. House of the Dragon's already been 20 plus years. So that's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
But
and- yeah.
so they also don't want to have them growing up too much, too fast. So yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah, someone told me that basically each season, at the end of each season, there's like a year time jump or something like that.
See,
Well,
that's
there's a
kind
year
of about
gap.
right.
hmm
Because you could tell Arya growing up, Bran growing up. We ain't seen Rickon, obviously, but we ain't going to get into that. So, Tomash, how did you feel when she went to the fun house?
Who? Danny?
Yeah, the unfun house.
I didn't like it because magic is cheating. Like that's cheating. Like what are you supposed to do? Like I was genuinely floored, and I was still wrapping my head around magic because I just did not think that was in the show. I thought it was grounded a bit. Well, until I saw the White Walkers, then I just didn't know what they were doing.
The White Walkers just let me know it was going to get weird. That was
Yeah,
that was weird.
I don't know. I can't wrap my head around magic. I don't even know what to do. Like when they pop up on the screen, I'm just like, they were creepy. They separated her from Drora. Like they were literally walking around the tower.
Yeah.
And she
it
was
was
just
very
gone.
good scene. I like that scene.
When she
And
ended up like
then-
on the roof at some point, I was like, bitch.
The crazy part about the whole scene is I felt like it was foreshadowing something because we kind of jumped through, like, they did do the different visuals with like different locations.
We
see
saw
that
Drogo
tree.
with their baby.
We see. I call it the Ned Stark tree because it's the tree that's in Winterfell, but it always like shows up through each seasons. And then they showed the Iron Throne with like the castle roof missing. It's all frozen over. So I'm like, okay, so the White Walkers is coming. I'm like, they're about to take over, wipe everybody out. You know, there'll be some survivors. I'm like, I didn't know. I thought it was doing a lot of foreshadowing. And then she goes to see Khal Drogo, her baby, and it was just sad. I just like, I don't know. They wanted to keep her there forever. So I'm like, obviously that's not going to work. So I really just didn't know. I was taking it scene by scene.
I didn't understand why they took her dragons in the first place. I was like, I get it. You took her dragons, but like, were you going to raise them and keep them? I'm sure they would.
I know. Since I just watched it recently, I remember the quotes. So
yeah. What was they going to do with the dragons?
It was kind of a side comment they made, but they said that, so she ended up in that room, like that little circle room, and they were like sitting like chained up on this little like altar pedestal thing.
Yeah.
And then he popped up and all of a sudden she was chained up, like arms out, like, yeah. So they said that because, you know, dragons haven't been seen in, you know, hundreds of years, whatever, and now that they're back, their magic is also back. So the people in the city now have their magic. So because the dragons were born, they have their magic back. And I don't know why that happened or like the logistics of that, but that's what they said. They said that because the dragons are back, we now have our magic back. And the level of power that our magic has seems to be determined by the proximity we are to the dragons. So if we keep the dragons in the center of town or like in this like center hub place, we will have we will be able to access our magic that whatever they had, like whatever type of magic they had for, you know, all of eternity. And since they have the magic, it seems like they were just planning on keeping Dany there with them because the dragons and Dany seem to be connected with the magic in some capacity because her being burned in the pyre is what caused the dragons to hatch in the show. And so that seemed to be their reasoning behind it. Now, obviously, they didn't stay there very long, and, you know, 5 minutes later, that guy was dead, and they locked the other guy.
I'm not making that up.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was. Well, she said it, and the dragon was like, yeah, and nothing happened, and I'm like, shit, and then he just like started on fire, and then he died, and then they locked the other guy in the vault, and then Dany just went full Dothraki and was like, all right, pay it, like raid and pillage the place, and then just took everything.
Wait, we can't skip by that part because from the time she got there, he was sucking on her coochie so hard, like it was so.
I mean, can you blame him? Look at. Did you see the other women in Karth? I'm not one to shame, but she was definitely top tier there.
Daenerys says, I mean, we know, but he was on her ass, wanting to marry her. And then when that girl, she had it coming. I knew she had it coming. That was a very good end scene for them two, closing them two in the vault together.
And it's one of those that you are left thinking about. I mean, some people forget about it, but like there's no one to unlock that. She took the thing with her. They're literally just going to stay in there and either starve to death, or one is going to kill and eat the other, or they're just going to go insane and kill themselves.
And they would still starve to death even if one ate the other. So
yeah, unless you tried some weird shit where like you tried to ration each other, and he like got her pregnant and they had baby. Like there's like all sorts of weird shit you could think about. Because technically, maybe they still had magic. We don't know. But she pillaged and left Karth, right? Or I don't know if they left Karth then. But I know they were planning on leaving shortly after that. So
we got to get into this demon baby because this is when I knew. I think this might be the scene because, you know, I'm so bad with names in Game of Thrones. I think that when Stannis did this shit, that was when I remembered his name. I knew Stannis wasn't shit when he had Renly killed. I knew he wasn't shit and he would do anything to get the Iron Throne. That was when I knew. And he ain't been shit ever since.
See, what sucks is that, well, because you guys did finish 5. Yeah. So we've seen other lengths that Stannis was willing to go to.
He ain't shit.
But
the whole show.
At this point in the show, he hadn't gone that far yet. He hadn't been
That was just
that
the first
whipped
step.
by the coochie yet.
When he
But-
did that with Renly, I said, he ain't shit.
Going back and watching season 1 again and hearing Renly talking to Ned about like making sure that they like stop the Lannisters from from getting the throne, it makes sense because Renly and Stannis individually would not have been good kings.
Of
But
course not.
they're
Renly would have
the
been
best
better than Stannis.
the best aspects of them together would have made the perfect king. Because Renly couldn't fight for shit. His battle was awful, but he was charismatic and he was a good people person.
Right.
Stannis is neither of those. But Stannis is a fucking soldier. And in this world, you gotta be able to fight. Because eventually someone's gonna challenge your shit. And if you can't defend it or your people, or if you can't prove that you're able to protect people, no one's gonna want to follow you. But you won't win people over to follow you just by fighting. But you also can't keep the throne just by being nice and charismatic. You gotta have a balance. And neither of them had that balance. But I feel like if they would have worked together, or if he wouldn't have been with the Red Priestess, that could have been a good dynamic.
Stannis
But
wouldn't have none of that shit.
Marjorie, even though we don't see much of Marjorie in season 2, I'm looking forward to chats about her later.
Oh, that's my
because
girl.
Love Marjorie.
she is something else. But good lord, the dynamic between and that's another thing with her and Renly, how understanding she was about like, the quickest way, like she is so politically savvy with Renly, and she just knows. She's like, I know you don't roll this way, but we can make it work. You know, you could just do the deed. I could get my brother to come in. I know you guys.
I know my brother like boys.
I know you two have been sharing the tent. You know, it's all right.
She's
I
about
could-
getting it done.
I could just turn around. You can pretend I'm him. Like whatever you got to do. But if we get a baby, we're good. And she was ready to do anything.
Marjorie
to secure that
is
shit.
down for the cause and keeping the peace. That is my girl.
Exactly. She's for her people. That's one thing about Marjorie.
Yes.
I love her and Lady Olenna.
Yes.
Was Lady Olenna in this season or no? She's not.
I don't think we met her.
Not yet. No, because I think when Marjorie and Lady Olenna go to King's Landing after the Renly stuff in the beginning of season 3, because we see them out in that like little like I don't want to call it a dock, but like that little like courtyard looking area that's like overlooking the water, and they go out there and they talk to Sansa a few times, and
Yeah.
I know Lady Olenna talks to. Oh my god, I had my talk to text on. I left it on, and I have like 7 paragraphs on my text. Whoops, I gotta close my phone. I left it open. Whoops.
It's fine.
But so they had her and Tywin had some really interesting scenes too. But again, not season 2 stuff. But yeah, the Baratheons. I feel like each of them had a very strong component to them that made a good king, but none of them had the whole package. And so, like, Robert was, I think, the closest blend. I know that you don't like him now, but between
I
love
don't like
Robert.
Robert. I don't like Robert.
I do.
between Renly and Stannis, I feel like Robert was the closest to a happy medium we had.
Yes.
Because as you both know from the history and lores and like the stories that we've heard, he was always like Stannis on the front lines, fighting, doing whatever he could to, for it. Like he was with the people, whatever. And he was fairly charismatic and kind of funny, but was also not the most responsible with the money. And so like that was his biggest downfall is the money thing, and that he had the bloodlust for the Targaryens, which, I mean, at times it seems like maybe he was right, because it seems like she's very determined. And with House of the Dragon, Michonne, you see what they can do.
Yeah.
So he was onto something.
He said
but,
the Targaryens shall not return. Like,
yeah, he's like, he knows what could happen.
he was ready to put that bloodline to an end.
Mhm.
And that's why I can't fuck with Robert, because Daenerys does my girl. Robert,
I understand. She's my girl too, but tactically, he was not
makes
far
sense.
off. It makes
The threat
sense.
to his throne.
I don't think that Daenerys is the last Targaryen, because Master Aemon, come to find out, was a Targaryen. What if it's another Targaryen somewhere that we don't know about yet?
I believe it. I would believe it.
I mean,
Obviously, Jack can't tell me because he already finished the show. But
well, I was going to say, even if there is or was, I feel like that's not something they're just going to drop randomly, kind of like they did with Maester Aemon. So they very well could just be those two. So, maybe you'll see more, maybe you won't. So
I want it to be another Targaryen so bad. And I'm so mad because I want her to meet Master Aemon so bad, but we ain't going to get into that. Tamaj, how do we feel about the Stannis and the Red Priestess, or the lady with the demon baby, as I call her?
I didn't trust her because she got magic. I don't trust no magic people. So
I could tell she
with,
wasn't a good witch off rip. I could tell.
Yeah. I was more so leaning towards Davos. I like people who know how to talk. I like people who like to do things the right way. So Davos going against her, I was always siding with Davos because it's just like his way makes sense. We don't know what like magic does. Like I always just feel like she has a hidden agenda. Like Stannis is just a pawn. So I just
because at the end of the day, what are you gonna get out of Stannis being king? Also, did they have a relationship before this? Because I swear she literally came out the fucking blue, and it was just like one of them witches like you know of, but like I want to be king, so like let me go talk to her real quick because I swear they did not have a relationship before this.
Melisandre?
She just popped up, like she was there, like when we.
I was gonna say when we met Stannis, that's she was there. Because we met Stannis on the beach when he was doing that like tribute. Yeah,
so
it was like
consulting with her because he wanted to be king, or did he already have some sort of relationship with her?
She probably came to him.
I think she came to him. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but
they knew each other before Robert died. I don't think they knew
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
because she's all about following what the Lord of Light wants. So once Robert died, it probably opened up a path, and the Lord of Light said, "This is who you need to go to." So that's where she went, and now she's been manipulating. And Davos peeps that, so he's trying to keep Stannis on doing things the traditional way.
His daughter teaching him how to read. Is that his name?
Yeah, Davos.
Not in this season.
He doesn't. Yeah, but that's.
We don't even meet her this season. I don't think.
No, the man that can't read. What is his name?
Yeah, that's Davos.
Davos. But the daughter, we don't see her this season yet. I don't think.
Her ass up there.
I thought we did meet her.
Shireen?
We meet the wife, and then they talk about her first, but she doesn't.
They talk about her. I don't think we see her though. Yeah, no, I'm key searching her name in the season 2 wiki, and we don't have her yet.
I believe that we did not meet her just because when they finally went up to her room and did the reveal, I was like, God damn, elephant skin. So like,
because we learn about grayscale that season too. So we haven't learned about that yet.
And stuff like that, it went over my head because I was still learning the world, and we had just got introduced to some of these characters, so I'm still trying to figure out names, what's going on with this magic stuff, like what this world is about. Like you're just getting a read on the characters. So first time watching, like it was a lot thrown at me. So I probably missed a lot.
I felt so bad for Renly. I felt so bad. He did not deserve to be killed by.
See, I wasn't fully attached to either character, Stannis or Renly, at this point. I did immediately latch on to Brienne. Like I just latch on to those characters that stand out, and she was one of them.
That's the big woman.
First, she seemed like I warmed up to her pretty quick, but upon the first like episode or two, she seemed a bit too enthusiastic. Like someone that even when you have to like pause to talk about like something really quick real world, like in the middle of like LARPing or something, she wouldn't stop. Like she wouldn't break character. Like she almost seemed too into it for the first like couple scenes, but then they tamed it down a little bit, and it seemed like it just was.
In later seasons, you learn why she was like that for Renly.
Yeah. And I double checked the stuff with Melisandre just to make sure that we had it right, and it doesn't give a specific, like very specific time, but it said at some point before or right at the start of the War of the Five Kings, she crossed the Narrow Sea and came to the court of Lord Stannis Baratheon on the island of Dragonstone to preach her faith. Stannis and the majority of them converted to her religion, and she became a close advisor to Stannis, believing him to be the prince that was promised of an ancient prophecy, the reincarnation of Azor Ahai. And I don't know if you guys have heard much about Azor Ahai yet, because, okay, yeah, that's more like history and lore type stuff and like book stuff. They don't mention it by name in the show as much, but they say like the prince that was promised and that thing, they say that a few times. I don't look into that as much until you finish, because it might spoil some theories. Okay. There is a YouTube video that I got to make both of you watch when you get to a certain point in the show, but I don't necessarily want to tell you exactly when, but it's one that literally every person that reacts to Game of Thrones, all of the viewers and commenters need them to react to and watch, because it's one of those where it's a video that, without adding anything other than what's already in the show, just picks up all these little scenes that give you little tidbits of information that you definitely didn't latch onto in the first like couple seasons of the show, that give you an answer to a question you probably had but didn't realize that you already had the answer to.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been giving little snippets of information about this topic, and once you watch them all put together, you know, clip after clip, you're like,
Gotcha.
oh,
Wait, is it so? It sounds like somebody in the Game of Thrones community made it, so I could
Yes.
react to it and put it on YouTube.
oh yeah.
Oh,
And,
okay.
yeah, literally every Game of Thrones react, like Nikki and Steven, RTT, everybody that's done Game of Thrones reactions watches this video usually.
Okay.
So,
Okay, I
and
gotta-
you guys can, and I mean, I'm pretty sure it's got a massive view count too. I don't know if
You
they.
sure named it
I'll-
one of my predictions. I'm pretty good at my predictions. Everybody loves my predictions.
I need to catch up on the season 5 videos, but we'll
I
see.
probably predicted it. I predict so much
Josh,
crazy
where
stuff.
is the food, sir? Because I know you ain't done eating.
Oh yeah, I ate all that. I was starving, Michonne.
Damn.
I waited all day for this video to eat.
You should have got some more food.
Well, I didn't want to overstuff myself and get tired, but I'm gonna eat again
No,
later.
I'm just a fat girl at heart. That's
But let me tell y'all what my up to this point what I thought was gonna happen, because my
Yes,
my
please.
theories was wild. So after the first season, or around the first season, I just knew the White Walkers was gonna come and there was gonna be a White Walker war. I knew Dany was gonna come over and cross the sea and save them. What else did I predict? I forgot the Dothraki horse. She was gonna get her ships. They were gonna come over. It was gonna be a war of all the kingdoms, and people was just sitting here like, "Oh boy, he ain't got no clue what's coming."
Not
I
a
was
clue.
predicting stuff like that around this time. I was like, "Boy, was I wrong."
Mm. The way that I felt up until this point about Game of Thrones is I was honestly just my theme throughout this entire show is me in disgust. Like that has carried me all the way to season 5. I can't take it. Like I can't wait to finish everything that I already started so I could watch from scratch and cry over a sappy ass love story. Like that's the shit I like to watch. So the theme of disgust. I'm still not over the demon baby. Like the disrespect. That is your brother. That is your brother,
Yeah.
sir.
If you watch the history and lore videos, though, you got to understand why he feels the way he does.
Yeah, it broke it down for me, the history and lore. It definitely
Because
took some clarity.
y'all ain't send me Nam link.
I reacted.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen the history lore videos, have you? Okay, it explains like right before season 1 starts, Robert basically screws over Stannis because in this world there's a line of succession. Most of the time it's with age. And it went Robert, Stannis, Renly, age-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And Stannis was supposed to get some stuff. And he went above and beyond, you know, gritty fighting, doing all this shit to like help Robert win the war. Renly didn't participate in a single fucking battle.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rob was just like, oh, here you go, Renly, and just gave Renly all this shit. And Stannis is like, what the fuck? I've been by your side, you know, fighting to help you do this shit, and you just basically said, fuck you, you don't get anything. And so Stannis was supposed to be inheriting some stuff, and also the throne.
Okay.
So he was supposed to get, you know, I think a castle or two.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
castle Renly has was supposed
to be Stannis.
He gave Stannis Dragonstone.
Yeah,
But
Dragonstone.
Robert did think that he was doing Stannis justice by giving him Dragonstone, but Stannis didn't see it that way. He wanted
No.
the castle Renly got. So he was already mad about that. And then when he didn't get the throne, that really just set him off.
So you
Yeah.
mad at your little brother because your big brother liked him better. It's okay. You still ain't shit.
Basically.
Well, I think he was mad at Robert, but he couldn't do anything about it because Robert's already dead.
Exactly.
So that he had to direct the anger somewhere.
And his people were literally starving. You know, they were on that.
Yeah, because Dragonstone is not a very easy place, and it's the same with Harrenhal too, which we definitely saw when Tywin was at Harrenhal and everyone was at Harrenhal. It was a shithole.
Shithole.
Yeah, and you see it in House of the Dragon too. It's cursed. Like there's nothing good about that place.
Yes, it's not good
it's-
at all.
It with Stannis too. It's not like he was completely not open to alliances or anything with Renly, because we had a couple scenes with him and Renly and Cat meeting together, trying to like meet in the middle. But Renly was just not like Renly was kind of drunk with the power. He was like, "Oh, you're no king. I am. I'll be the king." And it's like, line of
like-
succession,
He was very
you shouldn't
cocky.
be.
I feel
Renly was a
like-
lot more cocky than Stannis. Stannis had
Stannis
evidence-
is humble. He's like, this is
Stannis-
what I deserve, and I'm going to get
and
it.
this is what I've done to deserve it. Renly's just like, no, I'm the best. And Renly has a lot of people that like him that will fight for him. Stannis is in the shit with his people, fighting with them, whereas Renly has no problem sending people off to do his fighting for him.
Which
And being
is
more of like the
that.
diplomat, sitting having the fancy dinners and shit, whereas
Yeah.
Stannis was not afraid to get his hands dirty. And I think that's what bothered Stannis, is that he really did a lot and had a lot of respect for Robert, and that's why he followed him into battle and Ned so many times. And then both of them gone just fucked all the work that he'd done and all the sacrifices he made over the years to help Robert get the throne, that he just, I think, started losing it a bit. And that's when I had on the notepad that I started getting sympathy for characters I didn't really have sympathy for before. I didn't write him down, but he's definitely one of them, even though we haven't seen him much. I definitely, after the history and lore and all that, I started feeling it a lot more for him and a few other people. But
I see, this is my thing. I see, first of all, what good has ever come about of somebody going to where somebody else lives and preaching their religion? I don't care. I can't think of one good example across God's green earth where it has happened to somebody for the good. Step one. Step two, you killed your brother because you wanted to be king. That bad, sir. Like, really? Like, oh, it was so disrespectful. I just knew Stannis was, he ain't surprised me with nothing he's done since then. Like, I knew I ain't right about many things with Game of Thrones, but I knew Stannis wasn't shit when he did that. And then I felt so bad for Brienne, because all she been trying to do the whole rest of the show is defend Renly this whole time. Like, that was her boy.
I think he died like a day or two after she was appointed to the Kingsguard. Like she just met him and got the job, and then he's dead. Like the first chance that.
And then they blamed her immediately.
Yeah.
And they
Pissed me off. Like,
what also was interesting is that to show the level of loyalty, or I guess maybe even flakiness, of all of Renly's people, they all went to Stannis right after.
that is true.
Because that just shows you, if they were truly ride or die with Renly, they wouldn't have done that. They just wanted, they just wanted a Baratheon that could be a good battle commander. Like they enjoyed, the fun, like little fighting pits with, just having fun. And I think I know that we have some mixed opinions about Catelyn, but one of the quotes of hers that I loved so much when she came to first talk to Renly about the war, and like there was kind of a mutual understanding about, taking out Joffrey and all this shit. Loras was not a big fan of the fact that he had just lost to Brienne, so he was kind of salty in the moment, and he was giving Cat shit. He's like, oh, if your son is such a king, he should be coming here and, asking this of Renly, not hiding behind his mother's skirts. And she's just like, well, I'm sorry, my son's fighting a war. He's not playing at one. Right. And I was just like, I mean, you're not wrong, because they're literally just sitting here doing little play fights in the fucking courtyard, not doing or taking anything serious.
Brienne ain't lost a fight yet. Don't play with her. That is from the moment I saw her fight, I knew it was a woman before she even took the mask off. I said, that's
I did too.
I know a lady when I see one. That's a lady. I fuck with Brienne.
Let me ask y'all this. Had Davos not convinced Stannis to keep Melisandre from the Battle of Blackwater, do you think she would have been able to help him in a way that he would have won? Because Stannis saw it that way after the fact, that he should have brought her. And she does too.
I don't think she would have helped.
She seems to think that she would have. And that's why I'm like,
she's helped with nothing this entire time. The only thing she did was kill Renly. She's got nothing else done.
And apparently that drained her so bad, and Stannis, that they couldn't even replicate that power without.
Exactly.
So I'm like,
and the other boy, one of Robert's mini bastards. Wait, was that season 2 when they was killing all the bastards, or was that 3? Oh, wait, we're gonna get into that, because that's when I knew Game of Thrones was extra fucked up.
I think it was 3, because 3 was dark. 3 was.
I knew it was sick as fuck.
No, it was 2. I just watched it. Yeah, I just watched it.
Yeah. No,
because Cersei had a conversation with Tyrion about it, and Tyrion was like, how? And they also sent the one shitty Kingsguard dude away. Tyrion did. And this was also the season that Tyrion did the little, like, sneaky thing with Varys, Littlefinger, and Maester Pycelle, where he was like, "Oh, we're gonna ship Marcella off here," and he told each of them a different thing, and then
Right.
that's how he found out who the mole was. That all that happened. But
I feel like Marcella.
I have an answer to that question about Melisandre, but I feel like I can't give it because I feel like it would be spoiling. We'll table it. All I'll say is by the end of the show, you will have a more concrete answer to that question. Whether it was the answer you're at now or at the other side, you will have a concrete answer.
Well,
but
I mean,
if I give an opinion on it, it will spoil it. So I'm going to avoid it.
She might pull something out her ass later on, but up until this point, she ain't got shit done but kill Renly.
I was about to make a comment about her ass to Tomaj, but I realized that you haven't seen as far as he has. So
yeah, I have some theories about her.
Why is her titties always out? Why?
Oh,
if I was a chicken, I had titties like that. They would be out all the time.
It's negative.
She don't care.
It's negative 10 degrees outside, and she got on the V-neck like this with a robe and a ma'am, cold air, ma'am. It's colder than Chicago where y'all at, ma'am. It is cold.
She's inviting men to warm her up. She's tried so many times.
Jesus Christ! Every time I see her, I be like pneumonia.
Titties.
Pneumonia.
But yeah,
I have to do what I can to suspend my disbelief in terms of hygiene and shit with this show, because just thinking about back in the day when this type of stuff was going on, the trench foot, the brothels, the stench, the disease.
This room looked like it stank.
The land with the animals. No. Damn, I was gonna say something. I just forgot. So like her
titties. Cold.
I had another point, but I don't remember. Titties.
I mean, you had 2 points, but
the babies. I'm not gonna play with you. The babies. Season 2. Off the magic for a second. Obviously, Game of Thrones let you know off rip. Plot armor. No. Sensitivity. No. Anybody can get raped, murdered. It does not fucking matter. Except for the people that I want to get murdered, apparently.
That's what I be saying.
Like, it's supposed to be equal opportunity. Like, what is we doing? When who sent for all of Robert's bastard children to be killed? Was it Joffrey, or am I wrong? Okay, so see, I can't even say it. Jesus. When they pulled that baby off the titty, the babies, I'm still not over it.
Oh yeah, there were a couple bad ones. There was that.
I'm still not
over it. They had one that looked like they were like 10 or 11 that they just threw in the water and drowned. They had another one where they had a scene where it showed like the crowd being stopped like in one of the main like roads of the town, and they were like carrying a baby by its ankle like away from them, and it was rough. And then you had the whole thing with Craster and his babies, and the dude that would fuck his daughters and turn them into wives and marry them, and then that cycle.
Oh my Gilly Daddy.
Yeah, her daddy's Sam now.
Oh, Gilly.
Oh, Tomai. Well, no, you both finished 5. You both know. Yeah.
Wait, Gilly Daddy. What's his name, Tomaj? That I said he got to get his for the red wedding, the old man.
Walder Frey.
Gilly Daddy and Walder Frey and Ramsay got to get the fuck off these streets. Well, we know having a Gilly Daddy, but it is not safe. Like, Walder Frey gots to go. When did we get introduced to him?
This season, right? When they have to go negotiate for the
season 2
to get across the bridge.
Season 2. Them was my public enemy number 1. Obviously, Joffrey, Gilly Daddy, and Walder Frey gots to go. Get off these streets. So apparently it's fine. The king can fuck anybody he want, but can't nobody else do it. You're a whore. It's adultery. They don't call it adultery. They call it something else. What do they call it?
I think they did use that word once, one of the militant people.
It's another word, too. I just know because, spoiler alert, be quiet, I saw Sarah say take her walk of shame, and it was another word that they said, and I was like, okay, but it's another word for adultery I want to say that they used. Not as much as they used the other words, but it was another word. So apparently everybody knew Robert had all these fucking kids and nobody cared until he died, and now it's time to go kill them all. Like, what?
Yeah, because I think there was something about they were throwing around the rumor that Joffrey was also a bastard. So I think he was like trying to eliminate anybody else.
That's one of the few things Stannis did that I respect the fuck out of to this day. He's like, when Ned Stark learned about the truth with, the like Joffrey and all them, he only told me and like one other person. He's like, I will not make the same mistake. Send ravens to every corner of the realm. I want everyone to know. So he fucking blew that shit wide open, told everybody. Oh my god! And then Joffrey had the nerve to call Cersei out on it in front of everybody. He was just like, "No, I'm asking if he fucked other women when he grew tired of you." And she just fucking cracked the shit out of him.
I forgot about that too.
He started really being sick in this because this was a season that.
Ain't this when he started torturing animals and shit, and it started getting weird?
Tyrion sent him a few of the people from the brothels to show him a good time because he's like, he made them beat each other.
Yeah.
I don't know if the one that he killed was in season 2. I think it might have been later, but he did have the two like beat each other with like a bedpost or a candlestick or some shit. And I thought that he insinuated that he like used it as like
exactly.
But I know that they were just like beating each other with it. But then Cersei was like, "Oh, at least I'm not the one giving him whores to abuse." And he's like, "I thought it was a gift, okay."
He did that number out of spite for Tyrion because that was the scene.
I know, because he was mad at
Tyrion. The scene he beat Sansa, and then Tyrion
stopped
him.
Yeah.
And then that scene was directly after when Tyrion gave him the gift.
God, Joffrey was on.
And then Battle of Blackwater, another thing that he did that I forgot that was sick.
Joffrey. Am I the only person that wonders about Joffrey's sexuality because he was never interested in girls, like, period? When?
Oh, he was.
Because every time somebody tried to talk to him or like get close to him, he'd just be like, correct me.
Marjorie?
I know
he liked Marjorie.
The second that Marjorie came in that hall and she started like trying to like swoon and simp him, you could see him like adjusting in his chair and shit.
Did he ever have sex with her? I don't think he did.
He might have. I wouldn't be. I mean, if he did, they didn't show it because he's supposed to be like 14 and she's like 27.
Marjorie was 27. God damn.
Well, I don't know. I know she's in her 20s. I know she's in her 20s.
Early 20s. God damn.
Hold on.
Knocking on 30.
Hold on. I'll check.
Right now,
I'll check.
In real life,
I thought
like
Joffrey died a virgin. That's just me.
I mean, he might have.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Sick.
Game of Thrones been out how many years?
Right.
But yeah.
But I think he did like Sansa too up until Robb rebelled.
He liked Sansa until her daddy died.
Mm-hmm. He started really disliking the Starks with Arya when she cut him up. So that was his.
He was outside with her friend, minding her business. You the one need to get the fuck on, sir. Did Joffrey die a virgin? Because I genuinely do not think Joffrey had coochie. He was much more interested in torturing people.
He was. He's sick.
Like, literally. Like,
he even said it. He said, everyone is mine to torment. That's just what he liked to do.
He got off on that. I don't care what nobody say.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever, like, I know he really liked Marjorie because he was like, ooh, this girl's different. Wait a minute. I know he liked Marjorie, but I always notice whenever, like, Sansa or, like, somebody would get close to him, he'd be like, no, I'm doing something else. Like, it was given very much. Like, that's what it was given. That's one thing I always wonder. I'm like, okay, so, like, do Joffrey just want to run around and be evil?
Yes, I truly view him as a super.
I don't think Joffrey ever had sex.
You good over there?
He's not. I don't think Joffrey ever had sex. I'm standing on it. I don't think he.
I can believe that.
And literally, obviously, we know what happened at his wedding, so.
It was well deserved.
Very much so.
What they call that? The purple wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The purple wedding was much better than the red wedding. 10 out of 10. Recommend the purple wedding. 10 out of 10.
Absolutely. But I'm just over weddings at this point because none of them go good.
Literally none of them. There's not one wedding I ever liked other than when did Rob? How did Rob?
It was like in the middle of the woods, and that still pisses me off because
they were out bored. They didn't have time for the fancies.
No, but that literally was what killed him.
Oh yeah, we know. That's yeah. We can get into that.
I could literally do a whole.
Okay, so
podcast about the Red
it's a
Wedding.
little confusing, but so oh god, come on, stop fucking scrolling. So it says, and so the book and the show seem to be a little different when it comes to the age. So it says in the first book, so first book, Tommen is about 7 and Marjorie is about 14. So their age gap is about 7 years. So the Song of Ice and Fire wiki has her born in 283 and Tommen was born in 291. So Tommen's king in 300. So he's 9 and Marjorie's 17 when they get married. Not Joffrey, Tommen.
Yeah.
But Joffrey, it seems like in the show they have Marjorie as like, I want to say like 20, maybe, at least when it starts.
Yeah.
But Joffrey, yeah, I'm not sure. Joffrey, it's confusing because he's supposed to be the oldest. So he's in his teens, but he's not that old because they had him after the rebellion. Okay, so it says he died at age 19.
I knew it. I knew he
So
was.
he was close. So he's supposed to be closer in age to Marjorie, but
Okay,
so my
that
bad.
makes more sense.
But
Okay.
Tommen, on the other hand, was not.
No. Tommen was a baby. Yeah, I know that. But I genuinely do not think Joffrey ever.
At least when.
I think Joffrey got off on hurting people. Like,
He did.
Oh no, he 100% did.
he got off on hurting people, and like that, like he got off on that. So why would he need to fuck when he's having so much fun killing people and putting heads on spikes and looking at them as he walked past them every day?
And then bragging about it.
Yeah. So I don't think Joffrey.
I mean, Marjorie and Joffrey were together for a decent bit, like or at least like they were hanging out for quite a while.
Yeah.
And spending time. So I wouldn't be surprised if she put the moves on him because they did have the scene later of like her talking about like hunting in the crossbow and her like pretending to like the dark shit and him like being into the fact that she liked it. So instead of being like, well, why do you like it? He was like, oh.
But I don't think
like-
they ever got to that point.
I mean, they definitely didn't show it if they did.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if she gave him a little hanky panky on the side. But
Yeah.
I
So they
have no
basically
problem
left it-
believing that he died a virgin,
They left it open for interpretation, basically. Is what they did.
which I would rather not try to interpret.
Because you
'cause
see
I
what
don't-
she did to Tommy. Marjorie ain't nothing to play with. Okay.
She and he's like, I want to do this every day for the rest of my life. I don't blame you, buddy. You fucking 13, 14, maybe going in with like someone in their 20s, buddy. Enjoy life. I mean, back then it's definitely a case, but there's no cases back then.
No, they just doing whatever.
Oh my god, yeah, the scene, like the one with her and like going into his bedroom in the middle of the night, like the like purple lighting and everything.
Oh my God!
Oh.
Yes.
Mm,
Yeah, she
lovely.
Cersei fucking hated Marjorie from the moment she met her.
I mean, it was because she knew how to manipulate her kids better than Cersei did.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Was it another piece of magic that we missed? We did the
Um,
Daenerys, the demon baby lady.
I mean, there isn't much to say about the wildfire because you guys haven't heard much else about it.
Wasn't it
So
All I know is it was burnt by the dragons. That's all I know.
the demon baby, the White Walkers, the House of the Undying, the wildfire.
Mhm. What else happened in season 2? Arya was. What was going on with my
There-
girl Arya?
She was
It
with
Captain
Tywin a lot.
Harrenhal, and then Tywin.
But well, I
came
mean,
to
there was a little bit of stuff before that where they were on the road, her and Gendry, and then Gendry found out that she was, a lady and all this shit, and she
I
like
gotta talk about that again. I talked about this in the season 1 when I think Arya do not look like a boy at all. So I always hated it when people would call her a little boy. Like I used to get so mad. She do not look like a boy at all. Like
you know why Ned's like number 2 did that though, right?
why?
so that they wouldn't know it's Arya.
I know that, but what I'm
Mhm.
saying is, I know it's good that people see her like that. I know, but like what I'm saying is like random people walking past her that aren't even really a part of the storyline would just call her boy and like push her out of the way and move. Arya do not look like a boy,
I don't.
I mean,
think
she
they
didn't look
looked at her.
outwardly like a girl either.
but she do look like a girl.
I think if you stare at her, like you never seen her,
She
you
looks
would,
like a girl.
she would be a girl. But they just like would kind of look, and then because of her haircut and what she was wearing and stuff, and the fact didn't she carry needle, like so
Mhm.
they just assumed
They-
she was a boy.
They were
This girl
breaking
just-
all of the stereotypes and they had people reinforcing it by constantly calling her a boy so that anyone that came around would be like, oh, this group of boys. And also that whole group of people being taken to the wall could only be boys.
That is
So
true. Maybe
there'd be no reason.
Really looked at her face and paid her any attention.
And also, I mean,
wouldn't she used to like go off and do like stuff like away from everybody?
She used to piss away from them for the like week or two that they were on the road. Yeah, she had to like go and take a piss out there, and that was hilarious when she was like, "I'm not a lady," and Genji's like, "All right, pull your cock out and take a piss," then, and she's like, "I don't have to piss."
I remember that.
Oh
my God, bless her heart. My girl Aria been on the run since season 1, and I'm fucking sick of it.
And then she lost her first friend when they was hunting Gendry, right? When they were looking for the bastards, and then they mowed down her friend, and I can't remember who the guy was.
I just need to put a face to the name. Who is Gendry?
Robert's bastard, the one with the like he was black hair coming down.
Wasn't he like a blacksmith? He used to create swords.
And they didn't have no business showing that young man with no shirt on, because it was given. They didn't have no. I don't remember at what point they showed it, but I was like,
when Melisandre put the leeches on him for Stannis to take him out, throw him in the fire, and curse Robb, Balon Greyjoy, and Joffrey.
That's season 3. We're gonna have a long conversation about all of that because it just don't sit right with my soul.
Yeah, that was a hard working young man, but put his damn clothes on.
The amount of time, like the fact that they started showing Arya simping hard as fuck for him at Harrenhal when he was like sitting there like he would just be shirtless, like greasy, dirty, just sweat trickling down, and he was like beating the shot, and Arya's just like sitting there on the rock, just like eating an apple and shit, just like. And I was like, oh, Arya, you could have been a little less obvious about it. God damn. And she's like, your form isn't right. Here, do this. Like, and basically like telling him to like change his form, like move, like basically model for her. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Like maybe Robert used to look like that when he was younger, but Gendry, yeah.
Oh no, Robert was a fucking stud during the war.
He started, when once the
war was over, he started eating, drinking, and fucking his way to an early grave.
Once Ned's sister died, he really went downhill. He ain't had nobody to look good for no more.
Nope.
But, oh yeah, I was like, not them showing this young man body. Nudity is their top 5 favorite things to show on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Easily top 5. What else happened in season 2?
There's a fair bit that happened.
It was a lot.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Jon, the Wall.
Oh my God! Please talk about Jon. I'm sorry.
There wasn't nearly as much with him as I thought there was in 2. There's a lot more in 3, I think, because the stuff with Craster, we barely got anything. We got like
2, right?
Yeah, we got maybe 1 episode, maybe 2.
They go out past the wall for it again anyway. I don't even remember what they went out there for.
They were going to try to find Benjen.
Right, his uncle.
That he was the first, he was the leader of the Rangers. So like you have the builders, the stewards, and the Rangers. He was the like commander of the Rangers, and they all went out there, and his horse came back without him. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, "What the fuck? Where is he?" And it's still up in the air right now. We don't know where he is. So could be dead. No.
Okay, so that makes sense. I thought he was confirmed dead. Just trying to jump ahead, but
I thought they assume he is, but I mean we haven't seen a body, so they may address it again. They may not. We don't know.
Nobody, he's not dead.
Okay, that makes so much sense why Jon believed Ollie in that scene.
Yes, yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm just saying I didn't know that because I'm like, why? I thought
a lot of people really rag on him and hate on Ollie. I can't, because if you think of everything that little child went through,
I considered it, but I realized I didn't give a fuck.
Okay, I was just because there's a lot of people that are like, fucking flay him, hang it, break his neck, chop set, like that just want him just gutted. I'm like, buddy, this kid's like 9, and he watched his entire family and village massacred, his parents eaten in front of him, and like then Jon, yeah, the dude literally held the kid. He's like, I'm gonna eat your mama and papa. What, and like fucking made him watch, and then they like said, well, I don't know if they made him watch all of it, but then they like shoot him off to Castle Black, and then he starts learning under Jon and all this shit, and he like was believing Jon, and like really like look, Jon was like what's him to Jon was like Sam to Jon at first, like he was really looking up to him, he was like trying to be like him and taking after him, and then Jon started doing like all this shit to help the one group of people that fucked him over in every possible way, and he just didn't understand it.
This is my thing with Ollie. keep that energy for the motherfuckers who did this shit to your family, not what the man is trying to
just about
peace
to say,
and stay the fuck alive. They would literally rather, I know we jumping ahead, Ollie would literally rather the White Walkers come kill all of them than to have to try to fight the White Walkers with the wildlings. Like,
he also was peer pressured by all of the elders there.
Not necessarily,
he's like Brent,
because you got to remember, he had already killed John's wildling girlfriend. He had already killed a wildling. So it's not like
no, I just meant in that ending scene.
Because even
all the elders came to him and were like, "Hey, we need your help."
Because remember, he had talked to Sam.
I know there's peer pressure.
But
it was kind of like Sansa. Like Sansa in season 1 when she was made to write the letter to Robb. It was like, you really got to do this, or I don't know if things are going to work out for you. And so I feel like they probably baited him like that. They're like, we're going to take care of the wildlings, but
I do believe that,
I don't think his judgments.
I know he wanted to do it.
He stabbed John, so it's like there was some malice.
Did you see his face though? It wasn't like he did it. It was like, yeah, he was like crying.
This is the thing. I get it if the adults brought it to him, like, all right, go get John, but you didn't have to persuade him because he was already mad at John anyway.
And then he participated in the stabbing.
I don't think they would have
exactly.
No, I'm not saying that it doesn't warrant punishment. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there were a lot of people that like didn't understand why he felt the way he did about John.
I understand why.
No, I get it.
And people are like, you shouldn't be mad. John helped you, and it's like, okay, but he also helped thousands of people that murdered his family.
That's like somebody killing Rick Grimes because he brought the rest of the saviors in. Like that would piss everybody
because you're so mad at Rick. You're so mad at Rick for making peace and trying to survive.
That could be said about Negan too, though.
No, we're not talking about that. We ain't
no, but I'm saying, but that like
that's a good example.
He's a young kid that was manipulated, and it was a lot of bad situations. I have some sympathy.
I just feel like it didn't take that much manipulation because he was already mad at John.
Well, he did have a conversation with Sam about it beforehand. He was trying.
He's like, why is he going to go get them? And Sam was like, he trying to keep the peace. I done seen the White Walkers. They gonna come kill us.
Yeah, and I think he just
they ain't seen nothing, so they can't fathom the threat. It's just like you're hearing about it.
No, I just think that they don't give a fuck because
they don't.
I think it's a mixture of both. I think some of the people genuinely couldn't give any fucks, but there's some that like are that if they had the proof, they would believe it.
Do y'all remember why y'all built this wall in the first fucking place for the wildlings and the White Walkers, right?
With history, you'll get into that later.
I can't even talk shit because I don't know. I thought the
you'll understand
for the wildlings and the White Walkers.
For everything.
Y'all been singing this song for how many hundreds of fucking years talking about the White Walkers is coming? You know they coming, goddammit.
I mean, you know that literally everybody else, aside from the people at Castle Black, think that the Night's Watch is a joke, right?
I know that. That's why they send people there.
And the rest of the
and that's where Cersei wanted to send Ned.
Yeah, and Tyrion.
I love Tyrion. Shout out to Tyrion when he was there. That was a good time when Tyrion was at
pissing off the wall and everything.
Yeah, that was a good time. So John was at the wall. I didn't like none of the men there. None of them. I said
I don't really care about.
I like 2 or 3 of them.
I don't remember nobody else.
Out of the 150, 100, however many men was there, I hated 99% of them.
I know the 2 I like and the 1 I hate. Alistair. That's it.
Sam, Ed, and Gren were my like they were like my trio. We lost Gren to the giant, but Ed and Sam are ride or dies. I like them a lot.
I'd be like, Sam is
everybody else look alike to me, so I don't know who's.
Well, those are the only ones that really have names. Those are the only ones that have names. So
I didn't like any of the leaders at Castle Black off rip. I like Master Aemon.
I didn't.
Yeah, he's the only one.
I didn't like Thorne necessarily, but I had a mild base level of respect for some of the stuff he stood for. I hated the fact that he was just fucking coming at John all the time, but I appreciated that out of all of the like high ups and leaders there, when they had that big battle at Castle Black, he was right at the fucking front fighting with everybody. Whereas like the one dude was fucking hiding. Yo, don't even get me started on that little pussy.
I always forget his name.
Little pussy, that was his fucking name. He didn't deserve the fucking
name.
name.
Baldwin, right?
Yeah.
Down there,
He
was
was Jay, don't it?
Sorry,
He was-
get your ass out of there.
That was the one that killed the fucking babies at King's Landing this season.
And Tyrion sent him away because
Yeah.
he's like,
That was him.
Yes.
and he betrayed Ned in season 1 when he was
yeah.
So that's why I never liked him. Oh, he ain't been shit the whole show.
No,
Oh,
he's been a
sure
little
he
bitch
is.
the whole fucking time.
Wow, he killed the babies. That's
Oh my god.
I'm
He was
never
the
letting
city's
that go
watch,
out of
right?
season
Leader.
2.
hmm
Yeah.
I'm
He
never
was.
letting that go out of season 2. They killed all them babies. It's
Oh my
okay
God.
for men to have sad babies, but
I really liked the dynamic between Maester Lewin and Theon this season. Because Theon, and I know a lot of
we're
people
not
hate
at
Theon.
that part yet. Yeah, we're not at that part yet. Theon was okay in season 2.
Well,
He was. I was rooting for him.
Well, to be fair, all of the stuff that, like, all the shit that happens that leads to him being taken by Ramsay is in season 2.
Yeah.
3 is when he gets
When did
that.
he
think
start,
Theon
wait,
a
when
lot
did
of
he
credit.
start cutting up? When did Theon start
It was
cutting
Season
up?
2.
Because this
The
season
beginning of
was
season
episode?
2.
Fake
What
killed
episode?
Bran and Rickon.
I
He
believe
took over
4.
Winter season.
I will double check, but I believe it was 4.
Oh, okay, so half a season.
No, 3. Well, it was
Jesus!
3 he went back. 3 was the episode that he got back, and then his father just basically was like, I don't give a fuck about you. And that's another, the history and lore gives a lot more information on the situation, but basically with the war that happened right before the show started, the Greyjoys were kind of like in rebellion too, and in order to not basically just all get wiped out, Rob and Ned were basically like, okay, Balon, give us your only heir, and so if you start acting up again, we're gonna fucking kill him. So fucking pipe down and stop acting up. And so they took Theon as a guest, but he was basically a prisoner growing up kind of the same way that Jon did with Rob and, Bran, Rickon, everybody. And he was being raised there with them. And I think they took him when he was like 8. So he spent more time with the Starks than he did with his own family.
Of course.
But so then when he was trying to help Rob and he like went back and like thought that, he would be able to like get this warm welcome from his family, they didn't give a shit about him. Like, who the fuck are you? You haven't been here. We don't give a shit. And so then he spent all this time trying to, go back to like the family roots and like prove himself to his family because Ned was already dead.
He was sexually assaulting his sister as soon as he met her. We're gonna just skip that.
I
part.
mean,
He didn't know.
I was gonna say, well, 1, he didn't know. 2, I wouldn't say it was assault because she accepted it and let it happen.
it wasn't.
She could have been like, "Hey, Theon, I'm your sister. Don't do that."
She was edging him on.
She was leaning into it,
She
and
was.
yeah,
She was testing him.
she was like,
Type of person
"Hey,
he was.
like she was spreading her legs and everything."
I get off rip. He was already too touchy feely for me, and I was like, "You don't even."
Well, he was one of the horniest motherfuckers there, and I think that's why they cut his
It's
cock
not-
off.
It's not the fault. It's not the fact that it was his sister. It's the fact that like. It's not your fault you didn't know that was your sister. It's the fact that you just met this lady and this what you're doing. Yeah, damn,
Yeah,
son.
that's
Some
in
people
his
are
head.
horny. Like, not everybody, but some
You don't
people.
know this lady from a can of fucking paint, and you
Okay,
all in her
you
face.
understand that
Damn.
he
I
was
don't
one of the
think they
most
did it
frequent
TV
brothel
yet.
visitors.
They was
I
just
know.
scrapping.
So what he would have did if he would have put his hand in her pants and something bit him?
Ah.
Like, sir, like
I mean, he probably would have thrown her back in the sea with the crabs where she belonged.
too much going on. From the second he met her,
regardless.
I'm like, yeah, damn,
Other than the dynamic with Yara,
too much.
the scenes with him and Maester Lewin were so good and so underrated because he was the Maester that delivered Bran and Rickon as babies. He was the Maester of Winterfell.
Let me Google him. I just need to see.
I'm pretty sure I have his
He was
face up
teaching them
here.
everything they know about
Here.
the sigils
It was this
and
guy,
houses
Michonne.
and-
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was him. But he had like 2 or 3, maybe 4 very, very deep conversations with Theon about
Oh yeah.
his life and his choices and his him as a person. And Theon was very receptive to it. But Theon also felt cornered because after all the stuff that happened and I know a lot of people are pissed about the fact that he killed the 2 random farm boys in place of Bran and Rickon.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lot of good from that too, because he could have kept searching them out and found them and did it. But he didn't want to do that because he had nothing against them. And the fact that he went up instead of just forcibly, like, you know, dragging Bran from his bed and, like, throwing him out in the courtyard or whatever, he, like, came up and he's like, okay, Bran, this is what happened. This is how this type of situation is handled usually. So, like, he was respectful about it. And, like, I don't think he initially planned on doing all the stuff that happened. It just kind of, once it started...
Theon was flying by the seat of his pants.
And then when his sister and some of the other guys got there, and he thought that he would have done right by them, they're like, why did you do this? This was not the right call to make. And he's like, well, we had to keep this, right? And, like, so he was really trying to, he was battling a lot of inner demons at this point.
He wanted to be accepted by his family.
Because he had lost his other family. Because he did have Robb, but Ned was gone. And Ned, even though Ned, well, we didn't see Ned ever be disrespectful or bad to him, but and he even tried to pay the farmer for, and obviously, like, paying someone for losing their kids isn't going to do anything, but he could have just killed everybody. But so when he went to do that, then his guys were like, oh, there's no one to pay. We killed him. And he's like, what? He's like, why'd you do that? And he's like, oh, no witnesses. And Theon was like, okay. Like, so he was really just going back and forth. So he's not an overall good person, but I do.
He's not inherently evil either.
No. He's not like Joffrey or Ramsay.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, especially like, obviously, we're not there yet, but as you guys saw by the end of season 5, it seems like he may have started turning a new leaf. But that was after a lot more shit happened.
I gave Theon a lot of credit this season when I was reacting. Like, people were surprised that I wasn't mad at him for the
I'm good. I'm glad. Because a lot of people.
Credit in season 2, boy, I was on
No, 5. I thought it was 5.
I thought he had a bigger plan. I gave him too much credit. I thought he had a big grand scheme planned out.
No,
and he didn't. And then I was like, damn.
No, he talking about.
I mean, when he went to his father with the plan, it was a good plan. But the Greyjoys are just stubborn as fuck.
His daddy to put him in his place one time. You don't even fucking know this man, sir. You don't even fucking know him. And that just goes to show you, people gonna stick with who they feel like they supposed to stick with, not what's right and what's wrong. Because at the end of the day, you were raised as a Stark. They didn't raise you.
I guess in his mind, too, if you think about it, everybody thought Arya was dead. Like you said, Ned was dead. He probably hadn't seen Robb and Cat in a year since they do the year time jump thing. And then he kept Bran and Rickon safe, you know, and inadvertently, his decision to burn the farmer's boys saved them because people now are not looking for
I don't think he was going to get Bran and Rickon anyway because the wildling lady was not fucking having it. What's her name?
Osha?
Osha,
I fuck with her.
Yeah.
Hodor was getting on my nerves, but at least he useful. He be coming through sometime. But Osha, that's my bitch. I fuck with her. Now that's how you.
That happened this season too, right?
Yeah, that was all in season 2.
Yeah,
Like,
she was a good, unexpected character.
I get that you came in and you wasn't one of us, but you was like, I'm gonna protect these kids because y'all wrong. Like, I like shit like that. Like, I give her more credit than I would ever give God because she don't even fucking know these kids from a can of paint. She not even from here. You mean to tell me you grew up with these kids and you give less of a fuck than Osha? Oh no, but that's my girl. Nah, I fuck with her.
Mm-hmm. She had an interesting story too because she did try to kill Bran at first, but then
and then she ended up having to protect him.
Like, yeah, that was a good story right there.
And she knew Bran was lying about seeing shit. She was like, boy, I ain't stupid. I'm from outside. I know what's going on. I fuck with her. Yeah. That's a whole nother thing.
I miss them.
Bran.
Yeah, I miss Bran, Rick, and all of them. Like, we ain't seen them in a minute. Like,
Bran?
I like them.
Yeah, they just kind of didn't show them in season 5 at all, I don't think.
When is the last
and
time?
Rickon's not in 4, is he?
I will double check because I think you might. I think
now, and I ain't seen
tell me, Jack, tell me when is the last time I've seen Bran and when is the last time I've seen Rickon?
I'm gonna double check because
Rickon
I want to make.
got sent away.
I know, but
with Osha.
In season 3 because that was before. No wait, it could have been 4. I just know it was before Bran went over the wall. That's. I know it was before then.
It was Hodor and Bran and Osha and Rickon, right?
Right. And you know, Bran had the Jojen and his sister as well.
Jojen.
Whatever.
Jojen.
Whatever their names is.
That's like calling peanut butter Jif or Jif. GIF and not Jif.
First of all, who is whatever y'all just said? Who is that?
Jojen Reed?
Who is that?
The boy
He was
that taught
the
Bran
boy
about
from Hunger
abilities.
Games.
I've never seen Hunger Games.
He was the boy that was traveling with his sister with
Skinny
Bran.
boy with the blonde hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if he was
He could
blonde,
see the future, right, or some shit. He has
It
a
was
sight.
it was at least Sandy Brown. At least it might have been blonde. Dirty blonde? What do y'all call it?
I don't know.
Okay, so it looks like there. I don't think we see him. We don't see Brandon 5 at all.
No,
I
we
know
don't.
that.
We don't.
Now Rickon.
It was season 3, I'm pretty sure. Because I think they sent him away the same episode. They was in a little castle.
Yeah. Okay.
window.
So yeah, finale.
Saw
So it says
Jon fighting the wildling.
Bran instructs Osha to bring Rickon to the last hearth with the Umbers, with Lord John Umber, who who is a bannerman of the Starks, and to like get him away from the White Walkers. And they have this like emotional, thing. And so Shaggy Dog, Rickon, and Osha leave for House Umber, and then Bran and Hodor and Summer, and I think Jojen and Mira go. That's when they go at the end. I don't know if it's it might be 4 when they go, but
4-1.
but so 4 we don't see Rickon at all. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. 'Cause
I think he's
That's why that-
mentioned.
The end of 3.
he is mentioned.
Yeah, he's mentioned because that's when Theon. I think it's either 4 or 5 that Theon reveals he didn't kill them.
Yeah, it's 5.
It was the
revealed-
Red
Okay.
Wedding episode. I remember that all like when Rob was getting attacked by the wildlings. It was. I just don't. I usually don't remember nothing before the Red Wedding, but I remember it was in that episode now. Because that was when John first gave up his cover as the wildlings, and then
Yes. And then Bran had to warg into Hodor.
Yeah, but once you watch the Red Wedding, you don't remember nothing else in the episode. So.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
this is
Yeah.
my thing. A theme that has carried out throughout the entire series for me so far, having finished season 5. And y'all know I'm a person from watching me watch Walking Dead. I hate it when people are separated. Oh, it be breaking my heart. Like, it'd be breaking my
Get
heart.
used to that with this show.
Shut up. You make me
I got used to the fact that they ain't gonna see each other because it's just,
What's crazy is
Our kids have
with-
been broken up ever since they daddy got killed, and they have not all been together ever since. Only farther and farther apart.
and we ain't
the-
seen the whole family together since episode 1, and that's never gonna happen
Literally.
now ever. we
the
didn't even get to
the
see them
Stark
develop as a
kids-
family unit versus
Yeah.
Walking Dead is family oriented. Like we gonna see them together for at least.
And that's
This-
why it be fucking me up so bad, because I can feel they did a very good job establishing the relationship of the Stark family, even though they have not been together the whole time. Like, they were a real family, and that's why I be so hurt that they not together. I be like, you have not seen your little sister Arya in fucking years. Look how big she is. You done probably ain't gonna even know what the fuck Rickon look like, because he ain't gonna be no little boy no more. So it's like,
Yeah.
I be hurt. They did a very, very good job establishing a relationship, their dynamics, even though they've been separated the whole time. Because I can feel it still, having finished season 5.
I appreciate the fact that the Stark kids were never recast, whereas the Lannister kids / Baratheon kids were recast like 3 fucking times. Like Tommen and Myrcella were recast like 3 fucking times. And the fact they
I
used
just paid them no attention.
the actor they used for Tommen was another actor they used as a Lannister cousin that was fucking killed. That still bothers me to this day.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me. I forgot about that.
I think it's either in the end of 3 or beginning of 4.
Mhm.
Because it was when Lord Karstark was pissed about Jaime killing his son in that little like prison cell before he escaped with Brienne.
Yeah.
And so he goes and takes out his anger on a bunch of Lannister like kids or cousins or like nieces, nephews, whatever. And one of them is the actor that they then used to fucking play Tommen. And I'm like, guys, come on.
Let get his check. Let that boy stay on the show.
It
Wait.
just
Speaking of Lannister, what was Jaime doing in season 2 at this point? Was
he
was
happy?
was
prisoner.
in a prison cell the whole time.
I love
And I was looking for it.
Talking about
love that, because I
Sitting in his
don't
own
banging
shit.
Catelyn.
I don't give a fuck when nobody say the Lannisters do not be getting what they deserve. They do.
I be saying that all the time. Not
They-
in comparison with
No,
to
they
what
do
Stark
not. The Lannisters do not be getting what the fuck they
No.
deserve. They be getting grace that they would never give anybody else. And I've never liked Ned Stark's wife. If y'all know that, y'all know I've never liked that bitch. I don't like her. And then on top of that, just to shit in my scrambled eggs, she gonna let Jamie go. Ma'am, the only type of leverage you had at the favorite Lannister, Tywin's favorite fucking child. What? Oh my God, Debbie. Oh, at what point did he lose his hand? Was that in 2 too?
That was 3.
No, that was 3 or 4, I think.
Okay,
It was
but
3.
just him being, oh my God, just Jamie being disrespected multiple times a day gave me so much joy in season 2. Gave me so much joy.
I say now in season 5, the Lannisters are finally catching up.
Kind of.
Slowly.
They deserve, but yeah, look at Jack's face. Because he know how the show ends. Look at say.
They're slowly.
I don't know. I really like Jamie and Brienne's dynamic, and a lot of the history and lore stuff that gave more to Jamie's backstory. I feel like plays a lot stronger of a part in his character than you realize.
The thing with Jamie, he's not black and white to me, like how Ramsay is completely black and white.
I'm glad to hear that.
Well, I don't fuck with him, just period. Like, he's about 75% on my shit list. Like, I can't, every now and then, I do like how he always stick up for Tyrion, though. He always a stick up for Tyrion. Tyrion, as Tamar say, the only Lannister with rights, and as I say, the only Lannister that matters. Tyrion would have been dead, I don't know how many years ago, if Jamie didn't give a fuck about his brother. So Jamie always stick up for his brother, and I know Cersei hate that shit because she want Tyrion dead so bad. And Jamie, he still didn't get everything he deserved, but he got put in his place. It's nice to see a Lannister humbled. He was.
It is, and he has been humbled. He's like, and I told somebody this recently, Jamie, for what he's done, will never be on my likable characters list.
Facts.
But I don't hate him.
Yeah, it's not completely black and white, but I don't fuck with him.
Right, he's just there. Like, I'm not enraged or annoyed when I'm watching his scenes. I'm just neutral. But he will never be on my likable character list just for the stuff that he did and that he was a part of. Like, I just can't like him.
Like, Cersei has no redeeming qualities for me. Jamie does have some.
She will always.
Her love for her children and her cheekbones were what Tyrion said were her redeeming qualities.
Her teeth bother me so much. I hate it every time she.
No, I said cheekbones.
I know.
The Lannisters get so much screen time. I be in pain all the time.
Oh my God! Yes.
Tyrion was in every episode of season 2.
No. Do you know Tyrion is the only Lannister that matter? We talking about everybody. No. Do you know how happy I was watching House of the Dragon and barely seeing a fucking Lannister? Oh my God, it was so annoying.
I'm like, it's so annoying. I remember I had to watch a whole episode doing no Starks, and I'm like, this is all Lannister stuff. Like, give me a break.
I would literally rather watch the Dothraki than to watch the Lannisters. Like, I swear to God. Like, and
that's saying a lot since they're just literally just raping people more than half the time.
That's all they do all day. That's all 24/7. Cersei been getting on my nerves ever since I met her, but it just has progressively gotten worse the more that you learn about her as a person. I'm like, so this bitch been like this her whole life.
With season 2, though, I gotta say, Cersei, just with season 2, Cersei did get, she surprised me a bit towards the end. I forgot that they had her, like, turn a bit with some of the sympathy. She had some pretty nice conversations with Tyrion about the whole situation with Joffrey and the babies, because he's like, you need to, basically, he was telling her, like that you have to control him, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, don't you think I'm trying? And, like, the times that she has tried, he's literally, like, threatened to kill her. But what can she do? Like, there's not much she can do. Well, yeah, I don't think it's as much the raising. I think it's the fact that he's inbred. I think that's more the issue, because
she talks, I remember her saying shit that would piss me off. Not as bad as, we're going to talk about House of the Dragon, but she genuinely raised him to be a piece of shit. Tommen was so little, he didn't even get none of it because Joffrey was the oldest and he was a boy. And she knew at some point, 9 times out of 10, this nigga was going to be king. So it's like, how you going to raise him to be a piece of shit? And like, he's at the teenage age where he not trying to listen to shit his mama talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
I think one of the key moments was right after the whole situation with Lady happened. And when Lady bit his arm. And there was a very strong, fundamental, teachable moment there for him. And Robert and Ned seemed to handle it. They were handling it okay. When they were like brought everyone together, it reminded me, now that I'm thinking about it, of that House of the Dragon scene where they're like, he said this, he did this, and it was like a whole fucking thing. But he was like fibbing a bit, and so was Sansa. And Arya was like, why can't you guys just tell the truth? But then after, like, that whole situation was one, and then after that, when Cersei was like patching him up or like, you know, changing his bandages or whatever.
And a motherfucking liar. She know he a liar.
I know, but he was talking about he was like, oh, it's gonna be a scar, and she's like, oh, you know, kings should have a scar, like trying to like be like, oh, it's okay, like it's gonna be, you know, all right, whatever. And then he was talking about the situation like with Sansa and the marrying and all this stuff, and she basically ended the conversation with, you know, you're my baby boy, the world's gonna be whatever you want it to be, and if you want to fuck painted whores, you'll fuck painted whores, and you only have to see your wife on formal occasions. It's like, okay, you don't have to make his marriage what yours was because you couldn't be what Robert wanted. Like, Robert had to settle for you because the love of his life was raped/murdered. Like,
split in half. Like,
and then the fact that she tried to sit here and set Sansa up for that, like, this is how it's gonna be. You're not gonna, you know.
And then, so yeah, and then in Blackwater, that was when I started having mild sympathy for.
Cersei is the definition of misery loves company. I just said
yes, exactly.
That bitch. She is a miserable ass bitch. Like, I don't remember at what point it was. I know it's not in season 2, but they did a flashback showing Cersei when she was little. I was like,
yes,
that was season 5.
She's been
with
like
the witch in the
her
hut
whole fucking life, bro. Cersei is a piece of entitled shit.
Yes.
Which obviously, look at her daddy. I mean, but
Tywin, Tywin's pretty fucking
misery
cool,
loves
though.
company. That's why she was so mad at her daddy. Like, she's tired of being his fucking like herd cow or like whatever, just pumping out Lannister babies. Like, she couldn't fucking stand her daddy half the time.
But I gotta say, her dad was
misery loves company.
Her dad was basically running the kingdom though for the previous.
He was
for the previous king.
He's a well-written Lannister. Like, his motivation for everything makes
traditional.
Sense.
He is.
And if we had to keep, like, if we could only keep like 2 of the Lannisters between like him, Jaime, Cersei, Tywin, it would be very easy to pick Tyrion and no, I mean of like that 4, like the 3 kids and the dad. If you had to pick one of the kids, or like you had to pick one, like 2 people from that group, it would be very easy to pick Tyrion, obviously. But then I think bouncing between him and Jaime, because like Tywin may not be able to fight still, but he knows how to run shit, and he knows the political dynamic. Jaime can fight, but doesn't get the political shit. Cersei can't really fight, but gets the political shit. So he didn't. So that, and then Tyrion ended up being the well-rounded of the 2 siblings, where like he can kind of fight and he kind of gets the political side of shit. But so I think Tywin was kind of always pissed at Tyrion for that. But the scenes with Cersei in the Battle of Blackwater, before Tywin came and like finished, helped save the city, when she was talking,
Joffrey started the war and had the nerve to run his bitch ass to his mama. I was like, nigga, if you gonna be evil,
she sent for him. Actually, he didn't go. He was there, and she made him come back.
Fight anyway.
But he hadn't run yet.
Right. He was already like scared and was like, I don't want to do this. And Tyrion was like,
it's understandable. He's 15.
No, nigga, you better stand on that shit. You want to be a man, you better stand on that shit.
Right. He was talking.
So you make your bed, you gotta lay in it.
Oh no, he was, yeah.
Your mama didn't want you to kill. Your mama didn't want you to kill.
The fact both of you were just
right. Your mama didn't want you to kill Ned Stark, nigga, and you did the shit anyway and started the war.
That's another thing I commend Cersei for, because in that scene you can see she's like, wait, don't do that shit.
Right. Cersei never. I hate that bitch, but she.
Nobody wanted Ned dead, but Joffrey.
Nobody but Joffrey. No, and it's just so ironic. The man.
Imagine how different shit would have been if Joffrey was like, yeah, all right, and let him go to the wall. Imagine how different.
Right, wouldn't be no show. Somebody else would be fighting. But yeah, it's so that's like my whole thing. Like, ooh, Joffrey was getting on my nerves so bad in season 2. You gonna have the nerve to start a war and stand on? No, you big and bad. You this, you that. You do
the fact that he made Sansa kiss his sword before he went to battle. He's like, I'm gonna call it Hot Eater, and he's like, kiss it, and like made her kiss it, and he's like, oh, once like after the battle, I'll have you kiss it again, and then like when I kill your brother, I'll have you kiss it again, and then like she's like, oh, so you'll be in the vanguard on the front, and he's like.
Yeah,
I don't discuss battle plans with women. And it's like, you're clearly scared shitless, but
every time Joffrey opened his mouth,
also had one of my favorite scenes when she was saying the same thing to Tyrion. She's like, "I wish you well in the battle" or something. He's like, "Oh, really?" And she was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'll pray for you the same way I'll pray for Joffrey," or something like that.
No, it was to Cersei. She's like, "Oh, I'm praying to the gods for safe return." And she's like, "Really? Everyone?" And she's like, "Of course, you Grays. Like, even me. Of course. Even Joffrey? He's my... Shut up.
Yeah, she had
He's not.
Tyrion, too, in the throne room.
The one with Cersei was so good, though.
Sansa was getting on my nerves season 2, too.
Really?
Joffrey
I started
being a
feeling
bitch.
bad for her.
No, because the thing with Sansa is, it's like, I understand, like Tamar said, Sansa is a lover, not a fighter, and that is 100% true. She is a lover and not a fighter. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna need for you to have a fucking spine. This bitch was literally just trying to kill your sister and her friend unprovoked, and you not gonna tell on him? Excuse me?
That was triggered by that.
You don't, like...
That was season 1.
Yes,
yeah,
and even all the way up until 2, she was still getting on my fucking nerves. Like,
I mean, I feel like she didn't really do much in 2.
she had multiple times. She
was just cowering and being afraid of getting her period, and then she got her period, and then was trying to just avoid confrontation, and then she almost got raped in the plaza, but then the Hound came and saved her, which I appreciated that. That was nice.
She had multiple times to escape and never took any of them.
That bothered me a lot.
You want to be miserable in here. Like, I understand that you're scared, but you're not safe in here either, bitch. At least try to get the fuck on somewhere. She had so many chances to escape, and she just threw them away. Every fucking time. I was so mad. Bitch, this man, literally, I'm talking about, he shit in basically Joffrey shit in her scrambled eggs and made her eat them. And she still did not leave. Like, girl.
But I guess if you think about it, it was kind of...
It's some Stockholm Syndrome type shit.
While she was still promised to Joffrey.
Yeah.
Then she would have just been hunted. But the fact that she waited for her moment at the end of the season when he chose Marjorie over her and she pretended to be sad.
She waited too long.
Wow.
Waited too long.
Yeah, she did. But it was smart. She was pretty smart about it.
Did she have 3 or 4 chances to leave? She shouldn't have left that first time. But that second time, it was either the first or the second time where it would have actually been good for her to leave. And I was just so blue. Oh, I was so mad.
Well,
I think she
was going to leave with this is season 3, but she was going to leave with the Tyrells and go to Highgarden, but then they made her marry Tyrion and she had to stay.
I think I wanted her to leave during Blackwater real bad, too. I was like,
there's
an entire
that was the Hound.
The
Hound was offering for her to leave, but she was in the chambers with all the other, like, the women and, like, the handmaidens and all the kids, and she, after, like, Cersei gave her, like, a weird backhanded, like, pep-up speech.
Like that. It made me uncomfortable. I was like, what that post? I don't remember what was said, but I know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, there were a few, that was what I was talking about when I said in Blackwater, Cersei and Sansa had a few very interesting conversations. The more that Cersei drank, the more honest she got, which is very interesting.
He told her about what happens when they sack the city and rape.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I expect most of you women will be in for a bit of a rape.
And I was thinking that she was going to, like, take Sansa and, like, throw her outside. That's what I thought she was going to do.
Well, no, she said that the guy that was in there with them, the guard, the Sir Ilan Payne, the one that cut her dad's head off that had no tongue, he was like, yeah, he's not really here to protect us. He's here so that if they come, he'll kill us before they get to us. Which, I mean, I get, but I don't think Stannis was a raper. I think they're just assuming that.
That's the thing. Whenever a city is ransacked, somebody is busting in somebody's house and raping somebody. That's
I just don't think it would have been Stannis himself.
If I was Sansa, I don't give a fuck. First of all, if I was Sansa, I wouldn't be in that situation. But if I was Sansa, it ain't no fucking way I wouldn't have left during Blackwater. There is a war at King's Landing. This is like the only time you could get away and they might think you got killed. Like, that was like, out of all of the times that she had to escape, that was the best one where she could have got away with it. Where it would have been like she snuck out or like, oh my God, I was so mad when she didn't leave with the Hound. I wanted her to be with her sister so bad. Oh, I was so mad.
But the Hound is scary. You know what I mean?
He is scary, but Joffrey is scary because this nigga is king and got control over every goddamn thing.
I felt weird because, like, I didn't understand why he just popped up there. I mean, I know he saved her, so they did have a bit of rapport. But it still felt weird.
There was a bunch of like fire on the beach, and he was traumatized from the
But he could.
So he ran back
he
in.
Stopped in her room first and tried to offer to save her. And I thought it was random, but people explained there was more depth to it in the books, and there was more behind the scene. And I know the story now, but at the time I was so confused.
I was mad at her. I wanted her to leave with the hound so bad.
I wanted her to leave too.
Bad.
I remember.
Because that would have been literally the only time where they wouldn't have been like, this bitch escaped, let's go kill her. An entire war just happened. You could have easily just got killed. Like, they were literally in King's Landing. So, like, you could have got away with that. Oh, I was so mad. Because the hound would have got her out. If anybody could have got her out, the hound could have got her ass out of there.
Oh, yeah, he would have. Just like he got out. Unscathed.
Yeah. Completely unscathed. The hound would have got her out of there. Ooh, Sansa got on my...
And then eventually she would have reunited with Arya. It would have been perfect.
Sansa got on my nerves the entire series so far. The entire series. It ain't no way this nigga just tried to kill my sister and her friend and I'm gonna protect him. Nigga, we not even... We just talking, nigga. We not even married. We don't even go together. I'm just on the roster. Get the fuck out of here. No, do not like Sansa. I can't respect her. I feel bad when stuff happen to her, but like I just at some point, you don't live in a nice world. You gotta have a spine at some point.
She do need a spine, but I'm not
poor
mad at
little
her.
Sansa. I'm so sweet. I don't know what to do. I'm just
okay.
poor
So look,
little Sansa.
this is what he was looking like when he was in there.
I would rather run with that than Joffrey.
Well, okay, that was the Hound. I was listening to the dialogue to hear what she said because he like she came back to her room after whatever, and he was just sitting there drinking ale or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, what about the king?" And he's like, "The king can die fine on his own." And he was like, "Oh, do you want to go? I could take you back to Winterfell. I'll keep you safe." But he said that like in his grovelly ass voice, covered in blood and sweat, and she's sitting there holding like a little doll.
And I was like, I believe you. Let's go. Would you rather be with Joffrey, the king, who can have anything happen to you?
That wasn't what she said though. She gave her reasoning for staying.
What are your options? You literally can't leave. You're a prisoner here at King's Landing. And a war is outside. Bitch, this is your chance to run home.
I think she's more so just scared because like a day or two before this, she was pinned down in an alley and almost raped when she was walking through the streets. So I feel like that's why she was probably apprehensive, other than the fact that the Hound is scary as shit. Yes, because the last time that she left the castle, bad things happened. So it was like the mindset of a child that, oh, I tried to do this one thing and it didn't go well, so I'm not going to do it again. And like it's not, as an adult, that's not necessarily a sound mindset, but for a child, it makes all the sense in the world to them. And the reasoning she gave, she's like, oh, like I'll be safe here. Stannis won't hurt me.
Girl, no,
so,
you will not, girl.
But that was her. So
yeah. But I don't believe that because she had multiple times to leave and she never took none of them.
Well, the majority of them came in 3, not 2.
The first one was Littlefinger, who we didn't. Well, the second one I should say after the Hound was Littlefinger, right? Or no, that was actually in 10, the next episode, because the next episode was when he took Marjorie and let Sansa go. And then she tries to walk away and Littlefinger stops her. And he said, there's going to be an opportunity soon. I'm leaving. I can bring you along. And then she kind of just thinks about it. But then in season 3, early on, she gets the offer from the Tyrells to go with them. And that's the one she accepts. But then she's trapped by the marriage with Tyrion.
But then Littlefinger does end up like fulfilling that offer to her just later.
He basically forced her hand.
No, I don't like Littlefinger's probably, other than Joffrey and Ramsay, Littlefinger's one of my most hated characters. I cannot fucking stand him. I hate him so much.
At all.
And I do not trust him.
I fuck with Varys. That's who I fuck with. Because like I said, Jack, I said this in the first one, because like at the end of the day, you do not have to be perfect, but you could. Littlefinger is not for the greater good. Varys actually is for the greater good. Like Varys will bow down. Varys will bow down in front of the king and be like, "Yes, Your Highness," and then he'll go behind his back and do some slick shit. Like that's the shit you supposed to do.
Well, if it's a bad king.
Littlefinger, I hate him. I fuck with Varys. That's the sneaky nigga that I fuck with. I love Varys baldheaded.
Varys is a great character.
Yeah, I fuck with him. When did we learn a little bit more about Varys? Was that 2?
3?
That was 3? Okay.
3 and 4.
But yeah, I fuck with Varys.
We get the extra story about the priestess when she's in Meereen, I think. Because it's when he goes with Danny that
And
we
I always-
learn.
And I always
more.
feel weird about Littlefinger too, because I know
Because
that
he made out with Sansa.
literally, like, whenever he would be around Sansa, he would be this close to her fucking face, and I would be
He
like,
would basically be inside her.
"Why would you get out of her fucking mouth, God?" And he always whisper, "This him." Did I ever tell you before that your mother, when we grew up,
And
nigga,
I'm
get
like,
out
your
of her
breath,
face."
sir.
realm. Do you know what the realm is?
Literally,
The
he
Thousand
be
Blades of
in her
Aegon's
mouth.
enemies. It's a
Mm-mm.
story we agreed to tell each other over and
No.
over until we forget that it's a lie.
Even before the red wedding, just period. I've never liked Littlefinger and Sansa because I'm like, he's gonna try to live out his fantasy that he couldn't get with her mama.
Oh my god. That's another
Imagine how
rare
my-
scene
She
where
looks
Cersei
way
was
better
my
than her
fucking.
mama. Sansa is shitting on Cat when it
Well,
comes to it.
you know, we don't know what Kat was looking like when she was in her 20s. She could have been a fucking
Way
star.
better than Cat. So
Sansa's supposed to be about 13 right now, though. That's the problem.
period. I just feel
Right.
like he wanted to live out his
But
fantasy.
in this world, that's not
He
a
does.
problem for them.
I know, and I'm like, I've never
It
liked
bothers me
Littlefinger
so
around
much.
Sansa.
No.
Anytime I see Littlefinger around Sansa, I cross my legs. Like that's what it gives. It's a few people in the world that make me do that. Ramsay make me close my legs. Littlefinger, Walder Frey. I'm talking about. I be like, I need to.
Walder Frey, I don't even close. I dust myself off. I'm like, this musty, dusty motherfucker.
Like I can't.
That's an instant.
Trying to
trigger.
bust it open.
There was
And the
some-
thing is, Walter Frey only been on the show like 3 times, and I hate him so fucking much.
who was on the show.
The fact that
Walder
he's
Frey.
Professor. Oh yeah, Michonne, you know he's Professor, or he's he's Filch in Harry Potter. You know that, right?
Who the fuck is Filch?
It's the guy with the Mrs. Norris, the cat, the janitor.
What's his real name? I'm finna Google it.
The actor's name?
Yeah.
I don't know offhand. One sec. I'll
Lord
check.
Walder Frey. His name. Wait, what's
Hey, no. Stop Googling shit.
Oh, because I'm gonna accidentally spoil myself.
Yeah, you don't need to know his spousal, who he marries and who he doesn't.
David Bradley in Harry Potter and show me a picture. Because
Okay,
y'all,
hold on.
the Harry Potter movies. I swear, 3 is my favorite so far. I swear. But yeah, Tamash, what else happened in season 2? It was a lot of trauma. Obviously, that's the entire show. But
What
He's
deal is
he's
this
he
about?
he's an amazing and really nice actor too.
of course, it's always
Okay,
the
hold
white
on.
people that play the sickest characters.
Trying to think what we didn't talk about.
Oh, the nigga with the cat. Yeah,
That's what I said. I said the guy with the cat.
Yeah, I forgot.
And it's funny because he's holding that cat, clutching him close, and that's all he's worried about in Game of Thrones is that cat. You know what I'm saying?
And he like,
Just
oh my god.
smacking that ass any chance he gets.
I'm not gonna lie, Game of Thrones gets harder for me to watch the more that the show goes on because you think that you think they've done it all and then they do some new shit like Arya
Just
in them last few episodes of season. Nigga, what? Let me.
that wasn't even that bad. The Sansa stuff was worse.
No. It was no. But the
I was are you
it was
kidding?
the man, the second I'm gonna just say younger.
Oh, the house. Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
nigga, I was like-
that wasn't.
I'm holding on to my moon pot like.
You recognized who that was, right?
I knew him from somewhere else in Game of Thrones, but I didn't remember.
Sir Meryn Trant.
What does that mean? You know, I don't remember people's names. Who is he?
Let me get his
The
full
man-
write-up.
I know
Hold on.
Like. I know what he looked like, but who was he? Because like he was with the old boy at the bank. Every one of these is gonna be me recalling the characters because I don't know their fucking names. Like I know.
Meryn Trot was the king. He's part of the King's
He
Guard.
killed Syrio Farrell. He killed the dancing master.
Mhm. But he was the King's Guard. Remember the scene when Sansa's getting beat and then Tyrion comes in or whatever, and then he's talking to Joffrey.
Oh yeah,
like,
that bitch.
and then
Okay.
he
And
talks, and then
He was the one that
cut
he was
That's
the one
one of
that
the clips I
backhanded
made,
Sansa when Joffrey was first like, "Oh, this is your father's head," and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get your traitor brother and get his head," and Sansa's like,
I hate
"Maybe he'll
him.
give me yours instead." And Joffrey was like,
Oh yeah, that was a good.
"My
one.
mother said I should never hit my woman, Sir Meryn," and Meryn's like, "Bah," just
Yeah.
fucking like cracks the
Sorry.
shit out of her.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to kill me because I'm.
I mean,
not-
I gotta say, Buddy played that. I mean, he looked good in the normal like armor. Like I don't know why, but just the facial hair and like his big ass fucking nose, it worked. But I could not wait for Arya to cross him off that list. and it
Oh
felt
my
so nice
God. Wait
when she
till
did.
we talk about season 5. Wait, what else? Let me stay on track. What else happened in season 2? I'm
So
hurt.
what was Rob's story in season 2? We didn't talk about. I know he meets
Rob?
Talisa this season. I
Yeah,
know
which
he deals with Katniss
can we talk
Everdeen.
about how they were eye fucking each other for like 4 episodes?
I knew they were gonna get together instantly.
Oh, I did too.
First of all, can we talk about how fine
She's-
Rob and John are?
Can we
Compared
talk
to-
about how fine she was when she was sawing
Yes!
off someone's leg?
Yes!
The fact that the second he saw her like brutally sawing someone's leg, and he was like,
He was like, ooh.
Like what they got going
Well,
on with
listen.
Atlantis?
Out of I have to look at people that look like Walder Frey in this fucking show. So to have Daenerys, Rob's soon-to-be wife, John and Rob, I mean, just so fine. Look at her. And I have to look at people
their
like
babies
Walder
would have been
Frey.
so damn fine.
Walder Frey literally looks
I'm
like
so
one
mad.
of his
We should
eyeballs.
have
Not
Yeah.
that sounded bad. They would have made good children. That saying
Right.
their babies would have been fine was not the right way to say that.
Yes.
I'm
Walder
pissed.
Frey looked like one of his eyeballs is gonna fall out of his fucking face. Oh my God. Look at that man. Look at that
Rob
man.
and John look a lot alike. Like they were perfect.
They did good casting. So neither of you have seen 1917, right?
What is that?
Okay, so no.
Is that like
Add
is it like zombies or something?
Not at all.
Okay.
Add that to your list of movie reactions. It's one of my.
Oh,
it is
this
the
movie
only
I watched.
movie.
Kamaj, we can't do no more series, nigga. We booked up for the year.
We really is.
We booked
It
up.
is the only movie I've bought in 4K, and he is in it for a bit.
That man
And
is so fine,
Tommen
y'all.
is in it too. Tommen's one of the main characters in it.
Wait, Jack, let me put that on my list.
It's that movie that had that very famous recent one shot of the dude running in the field from all the gunfire and shit.
I ain't seen it.
I've heard
Uncultured
about it. Did it win
motherfucker.
some sort of award.
It won a bunch of awards.
All right, I put
That's the only time I've seen it on like Twitter.
But yeah, so obviously everybody who's watching this already knows. But yeah, them two oldest Stark boys, them
Yeah,
Stark men,
this was the scene. Was the dude running in the field? But
a staggering piece of filmmaking.
I don't know why.
you guys know how critical I can be in movies. This is genuinely one of the because okay that was the other thing, and it's a total tangent. But the reason that this was such a good like bit of filmmaking is because they shot it to look like one continuous take.
Ooh,
Yeah,
you know I love a one take.
and it
Really?
is so fucking nice.
I'll watch it just for that.
It
Yeah.
because
Like literally, 'cause
like
I
we
just
talked
like-
about it in my film classes as it came out. Like we broke down shit from it is so good.
Even like, of course, Walking Dead is our shit. That's how we know each other. If you guys didn't know, two of my favorite men in the Walking Dead community, period. They're goated. Anyway, like whenever we get one good continuous shot of anything in something, we like, oh, it's so fucking good.
The whole fucking movie,
Tamaj, did you
the
watch
whole thing.
Did I watch what?
Did you watch Stranger Things?
Oh yeah, I reacted to it this
Yes.
4th season.
When
Oh,
they-
it kills me because one of the best one takes I've ever seen in my life is in Game of Thrones, and you haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, see, when they tore up Joy's house in Stranger Things 4, that was all one shot. Oh, it
Oh
was so
yeah.
fucking good.
That
I
was
watched
good.
the behind the scenes video of that. Oh, I love one shot takes.
They're so
Love
good. Yes.
But
Very
yeah.
good. Cinematography is everything. Like I appreciate that so much. I studied film in college.
I didn't. I
It's
just
so
like
fun.
It's an hour and 59 minutes,
that's about average for a movie for me. I like long movies.
but the fact that it's a one take,
Okay. The fact that you just said that.
So
just
let's talk about Arya and Tywin scenes because we ain't talked about that. Broke it down because there was a lot happening. And
Stress.
Littlefinger was moving around a lot, making dealings. You know,
Littlefinger was with them for a very short amount of time, but the
Right.
dynamic between Tywin and Arya it's hard for me to say it's my favorite of the season because we didn't get a ton of it, but it certainly is like one of my favorite parts about season 2 because their banter back and forth and how you can tell that Tywin most likely knows who it is, or at least maybe he may not know exactly, but he knows that she is not who she says she is. The second he sees her, he's like, yeah, it's a girl.
He don't know.
And he knows exactly where she's from and like the general area, even though he may not pick up that it's Arya, because I mean Tywin probably hasn't been to King's Landing or Winterfell since she was born, or like he might have met her a few times, but he doesn't know what she looks like
Robert
necessarily.
met Arya in the first episode, so Tywin definitely never met her.
Exactly. So I know
Yeah.
that I know that Tywin knew Arya wasn't who she said she was. He just didn't know that was Arya motherfucking Stark.
Right, because he never seen her.
He
'Cause
never
wasn't
would have let
in
her
King's
go.
Landing.
Ever. She would have been glued to his motherfucking hip.
But
if
the-
she known that's Arya Stark.
Just their banter back and forth, and how he just like they just it was so witty and so tongue in cheek at times that I loved it.
And you gotta remember,
so
reading, not
much.
everybody knows how to read. So when like
Yeah.
she would be like, bitch, who is your daddy? Where you from again? Where did you
Yeah,
say
and he was
you
like, "Oh,
from?"
he's a stonemason."
She's like,
And then
"This
she
girl's
even like
smart."
took little digs at him. He's like, "Oh, I haven't known many like literate stonemasons." And she's like, "Have you known many stonemasons, my lord?"
Right.
And he's like, "Careful."
Yeah.
So like,
Very
and the,
weird.
just you could tell that he started gaining respect for her because she was not only like most people that are like servants or like cupbearers, whatever, are probably pretty
humble. Think
humble.
lowly,
Well, yeah, they're pretty dull
quiet.
a lot of times. Like
Yes,
they're not
sir.
the highest intelligence.
This
He
would've
could
been
tell
Arya.
that she was very smart.
This would have been Arya. Yes, sir. You see how all the she never wouldn't have had nothing to say back.
No.
Nothing.
Right,
he
right.
he would have never even thought to even have a conversation with her for even 10 seconds. But
Yeah.
it was like, oh yeah, this is
And
different.
the fact that that's another thing. Like I have to really respect Tywin for it. Like I this season had me gain a lot of respect for Tywin because he never really dismissed Robb. He as Robb kept like winning battles and gaining experience, he wasn't just being like, oh, this is how did this happen? He was acknowledging the fact that yes, Robb hasn't had a lot of experience in war, but the experience he does have is proving to be very, very yes. And so he was gaining a lot of respect for. And there was another like side scene where someone was talking about like him knowing Robb or whatever, and he's like, no, but he's starting to know me. And I'm like, duh, I fucking love that. But he even was like asking Arya about Robb. He's like, oh, what do they say of Robb Stark in the North? And she's like, oh, they call him the Young Wolf. They say he rides to battle on the back of a giant direwolf, and they say he can't be killed. He's like, and do you believe that? And she's like, no, anyone can be killed. And he's just like, I was like, oh,
Also,
could
she
fucking
is
cut the
jaded
tension
child.
with a knife.
Also, she is a jaded child because her daddy was killed in front of her, even though she didn't have to see it.
Yeah.
I was so happy
And-
he made her not look.
And one of the good scenes too was when Littlefinger got into the room. And
Yeah, and
she
he
trying
and
to
he
dodge-
was like, I think I know you.
No, and the timing was so perfect because he'll be trying to see Arya face and then Tywin and
It's
talk
like-
to him,
and
he
then-
gotta look at Tywin.
He went and looked at Tywin and was like, we had word of the Stark girls. And like just kept talking. I'm like, oh no.
Right,
Yeah.
it was so stressful.
I would
and-
literally be screaming at my fucking computer because if Littlefinger would have found out that was Arya, I don't think it would have been good for Arya necessarily.
No, Littlefinger definitely knew that was her.
I thought
I don't
figured
think he
by the
knew.
end that he
I,
figured it
by
out,
by
but
the
he
by
didn't.
the end of that whole table scene, I think he knew.
I don't think he knew because he didn't do nothing about
It
it.
was open for interpretation, really, because he
Yeah.
never said.
Because he never actually got to look at her face because every time he was trying to look at
I
her
mean, he
face,
got a few.
He didn't get a
Tywin-
decent glimpse.
Tywin would talk to him and then he got to turn his head and talk to Tywin. And I'm like, that was timed too perfectly. He never really got to
But
like.
yeah,
look at
I
her.
just gotta say, this fucking look, fire. I'm sorry, the red. I know we all can hate on the Lannisters, but their drip with that red, oh my god.
Not
And the
there!
fact that
It's hilarious.
the second that he got into Harrenhal, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And like they were all just like torturing people for information about the Brotherhood, and it's like,
Oh,
why
yeah.
are we worrying about the Brotherhood right now? Like, we're in a
They're
war,
starting a fucking
and you're
war.
killing all these people. One, that most of them were already committed to go to the wall, so we're already breaking protocol here. Because once they're committed to the wall, they're out of reach of all of the kings in the government, so they should just be gone. So you guys shouldn't be doing this in the first place. And he's like,
Saved
they could
Arya.
also be scale. They could be skilled laborers here. What do you do? Like, what do you do? Like to hop on? He's like, oh, I'm a baker. And he's like, see? And he looks at Genji. He's like, what about you? And he's like, Amu's apprentice. He's like, why are you guys killing these people? We can use them. Like, come on.
Tywin
And so,
wasn't no big no
Tywin
mother-
is so fucking smart.
Who was the guy that was killing people? Because I remember they clicked.
They called him they called him the Tickler. I don't know what his name was, but I think because Arya had Jack and kill him pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, they call him the Tickler.
She got 3 kills.
That
He
was
killed-
one of the only times Tywin came somewhere and did some good was getting Arya to fuck up out of that shithole.
Yeah.
Right.
And to be fair, I think it, like, even though it would have been nice to see Stannis take over King's Landing from Joffrey, I do think to save lives, it was nice that Tywin came in because, like you guys said, regardless of how good the people are, when a city's sacked, bad stuff's bound to happen. So it was nice that he came in and did that. And I'm trying to, did we get much? I know it's not season 2; it's much later. But did we get much with the? I'm trying to think of the way to phrase it because I don't think it's spoilery stuff. But the religious guys in King's Landing.
No, it was
not in season 2, in season 5, like the one you guys just finished.
Hell yes, in 5.
Yes. Did
5?
Did you guys recognize? Did you guys recognize one of the main guy, like the dudes with the symbol on his forehead?
Are you talking about Lancel?
Yeah. Did you pick up who that was?
Yes.
Okay. The first time that I watched, I was really confused. I'm like, he looks really familiar. And I'm like,
Jack, wow.
Okay. I binged 5 seasons in 9 days. Okay.
I don't know how you did it.
I binged 10 seasons of Supernatural in a month.
Like,
well, I was in it. No, the first episode,
length.
I didn't get it.
It's not the length; it's the content. How the fuck do you watch all of that for that long back to back?
Because I get like 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night.
Well,
when I did that, I did.
Mentally, like, stay healthy watching that.
I need to heal.
I'm autistic. I compartmentalize. It's not. That's how my mind works.
I be needing to break. Like, I don't even be wanting to watch it sometimes.
Y'all see, I've been watching this shit for 2 months.
I can separate it because it's not real.
I know
and anytime when I was younger, I used to get scared. I mean, I immerse myself, but if I ever get to a point where I'm like uncomfortable with the immersion, I step back and look about it from a production standpoint, and then I'm not worried about it anymore. I'm not scared. I'm like, oh, I wonder how they did this scene right here. It's like, so it's very easy for me to disconnect if I need to.
I'll be so appalled.
Because I'd be mad. I'd be cutting it off mad. All right.
I forgot.
I'd be mad, but
yeah, the show progressively whoops my ass the more that it goes on. Like, they foot been on my neck.
Really. Oh, it's not done yet. Don't worry. You guys still have 3 seasons.
They put me on 5-10. I wasn't. They foot been on my neck since.
Can you guys believe you only have like 20 episodes left, 23 episodes left?
I know.
Yeah, but I got House of the Dragons after that, so I got 30.
Can you hurry the fuck up and watch them little 10 funky ass episodes of House of the Dragon? God damn.
You're saying that to him, yet it took you 2 months to watch 3 episodes of this?
But I was watching other shit. But see, the only reason I let Tamar slide is because he watches way more shit than I do. Like,
were you watching other shit? I didn't see it on YouTube, ma'am.
I need to get on YouTube, but I don't have nobody to put my videos on YouTube.
So there's this thing called yourself, and it's a pretty strong and good tool.
There's this thing called mental capacity, and what I do not have it for is technology.
Endurance. See, but
I have it, but it's not.
Just think how far you could go if you just took a little time to work on that. Just think.
My Game of Thrones 5-8 reaction actually is up, so that's
finally.
I need to put it on my website.
So that one video I was telling you guys about that you guys are gonna need to watch eventually. It is just shy of 2 million views right now.
Jack, and it's back down. We need to see which is coming.
I was trying to line up the tops of our heads because I was filling the whole screen and you guys weren't.
Okay, so I wasn't the only one looking at that, but I just want to see the shirt. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was my OCD was having a bit of a stroke.
Oh, I'm
it's all right. Okay, see now it works because it's we're up here and. It's like boop boop boop.
I was sinking down into the moon pod.
Holy shit, we're already 2 hours into this. 2. That's nuts. I guess was there any other season 2 stuff that we? I mean, we talked about the Hound and Sansa a bit.
Let's just talk about characters. Are there any characters we missed in season 2 that we were introduced to?
That we were introduced to?
Yeah. I feel like they introduced.
The only person we didn't really talk about, and it's really a small character, was Shay. I can't remember.
I was gonna say that was I had the Tyrion and Shay thing, and how the mighty have fallen.
Now,
they were
my lion.
No,
they were fucking swooning in season 2.
Wait, I forgot all about.
Did you guys know? And Mashand, I guarantee, is gonna be like, of course you would know that, but the actress that plays Shay apparently. This was not her acting debut. She did like some hardcore stuff before the Game of Thrones, and
So
this was her first
they-
TV acting debut. So
so
it makes sense that her role in this would start as a working girl, I guess. Yes.
Wow.
whore, as they say.
Yeah.
Now wait, let's talk about Shay, because oh my god, I forgot about her. I've been going through so much trauma on this
My
show.
lion.
Now let me tell y'all something.
My
In
lion.
season
Let me
2,
ask some, Rick.
in season 2 is when we got to learn how much Cersei really fucking hate Tyrion. Like,
Yeah,
it was
because she wanted to fuck up his love life, even though she got the wrong woman.
that whole story that they told about when Tyrion was little, how they did him like as a young teenager with the girl, the whore, and all of that. I feel
When-
so bad.
Well, yeah, and that's another, when you guys were talking about Jamie always riding and dying for Tyrion, that was another time he did. He was like, I want my baby brother to, clap some cheeks. Here you go. Set the whole thing up, played it off, and then they just didn't really let that go his way after that, unfortunately.
It was a whole thing, and it just
Yeah.
that every step of the way, I'm just like, bro, I fucking hate the Lannisters. Like, it really is Tyrion or nothing for me. Like, so Tyrion and Shay, I don't even remember what my initial feelings were about that.
I liked them together. I was
I
cool. I
like-
thought Shay was a cool.
I like
character.
Tyrion being happy, but I didn't like the fact that Shay don't fucking listen.
Yes, that is the hardest
because-
part.
That bitch don't fucking listen. Like, the Lannister family is infamous for many things, okay? Many a things. Like, these people do not have your best interest at heart if you not no fucking Lannister. Now, let me tell you something. He been telling you all of this time that you need to go. Like, even before he was, like, trying to leave with her. She didn't even be on the down low or slick with it. She was just out. Bitch, we are at King's Landing. In the middle of a war. Where do you think you are, bitch? Like, she just was not smooth about her shit at all.
And she kept
was
saying,
just-
"Oh, I'll protect you. I'll protect you." What are you gonna do when knights
Hey.
come in your room with armor and swords? Man, that little dagger ain't doing shit.
Oh my! There was a quote Tyrion had with her where he was like, "Can't just fuck your way out of all your problems." She's like, "It's worked so far." And it's like, okay, I get that, but
Fucking-
Coochie can only be so good for so long.
literally a dumb broad. That's like, that might be the only dumb broad we met so far. Like, she was literally a dumb broad. Like, this whole ass Lannister is telling you that his family is going to fucking kill you and him. If they don't give a fuck about him, why would they give a fuck about you, a common whore? And it just
Damn, hit her with common shit.
it was not clicking, Jack. Like, it was not clicking.
Oh, I know.
Like,
I remember.
oh my! Every time I'm like, hold on, listen, ma'am. Like, oh, that bitch got on my nerve. Yeah, she got on my nerve very much so. Oh my god, I can't
Yep.
believe I forgot about Tyrion and Shay. That was a whole thing in season 2. Damn.
Yeah, that was a good chunk of their development there.
was
Because Tyrion was doing a lot as hand. He was like one of the best hands. I
He
think.
is voted as Hand of the King. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck what nobody say him, because, and that's another thing. Like, people always like to make excuses about, like, because I understand that if you're raised a certain way, you can be that way. But I remember I had an English teacher in high school. I'll never forget this shit. He said, how you are raised does determine who you are, but it does not limit you. And when I tell you that is the realest
Right.
shit I've ever heard a nigga say,
Oh,
Tyrion is
wow.
a prime example of that. He ain't shit like his family. Like, Tyrion really be for the greater good. Like, he could be like Theon and try to kiss ass and try to do shit to try to get their approval. He'd be like, "No, fuck y'all."
See, the final episode though kind of contradicts that a bit, which
Of
I
what?
totally what you're just saying, that, and I kind of forgot
So,
about it.
final episode of what?
This season,
What happened?
season 2. So after the Battle of Blackwater, when he's in the room with Shay, and they were like, "Oh yeah, so these are your new quarters now because Tywin has assumed his position as hand.
Yeah.
Bronn is no longer commander of City Watch. Blah blah blah." And so he was trying to tell Shay, like, you gotta get out of here because like they're definitely gonna come and try to like take you away or kill you or
They was
something.
trying to kill him.
Yeah, but he's like, but I like this dynamic with my family and like this political game. I like playing it, and he like openly admitted to liking doing the political shit and all that stuff. And I forgot that he said that because I just keep thinking about the I drink and I know thing. Like I just keep thinking like that side of him. Like after he like spent months inside that barrel, like pissing and shitting in it, tossing his shit out the fucking holes in it. So I forgot that he really liked the political side of shit and like the slithering in between, the different.
I like that about him.
No, I do too. I almost forgot that he like tried to like, because I remember he tried to send her away at one point before that, but I forgot that he tried to do it here too. For some reason, I just the gap between their like relationship, I forgot what happened between like the Blackwater stuff and when he marries Sansa. Like there was a gap there that I forgot about, just like what happens between them. But that I think partially because then she gets him all emotional. She's like, "I'm yours and you're mine," and like all that shit. And like he's
good.
And then he just like starts crying and shit. And so it's like a whole thing. But I forgot that he openly was like, "Yeah, I really like this political shit and playing, the game." And so I think it's, I don't know if it's just that she just wasn't listening at all. I think he well, no, she definitely wasn't listening. But I think he also kind of like reeled her in even more there. He's like, "I want to keep playing this game, but I also want you here." And that I think was the mistake. Or obviously, by the time season 2 ends, we don't realize how big of a mistake it is. But that's, I think, part of the mistake, because if he would have been able to be like, this was fun, it works, like we may love each other, but in reality, logistically, politically, with my family, this is never actually going to work. And obviously, hindsight's 2020. Like obviously, and it's the same with Rob. Like, yes, they loved each other. She could have been like his side hoe. Like he could have seen Walder Frey's woman, for like Cersei was saying, for formal occasions, blah blah blah. But he could have been fucking the chick he actually loves on the side, and they could have like been actually like together, but not formally and publicly. But love is love, and he's like, "Oh, fuck, I don't want to do that." Fuck. I also think he did that to spite Kat too, because Kat came in and was like, "I've seen how you're looking at her, and I know that you guys have like kind of done some stuff." And they weren't married yet.
Right then and then, like,
he was like, "You need to stop this." And he was like, "You can't like pursue this, Rob." And this was just after she let Jamie go. And Rob's like, "How can I ever listen to anything you say or trust you?" And then like 2 scenes later, he fucking marries her. And I'm like, that. So the Kat letting him go cascaded into him being like petty about it, and then basically like going above and beyond to do exactly what she didn't want him to do, just to spite her. And because she had a conversation where she was promised to Ned's brother. She wasn't promised to Ned. And then when Ned's brother died at King's Landing, when he was burned alive by the Mad King, she was just kind of like, "Oh, well, here's the brother." And they're like, okay. And so she had a thing with his brother first, Rickard. And then having the thing with Ned, they didn't love each other at first. They were just married, and it's like, okay. And then they built the love and connection and bond over time, and it became stronger. And she's like, that almost worked better for us because we were able to build it naturally over time. Whereas this, like, hot and heavy, lust-filled thing you have right now might be good and feel right in the moment, and you two might feel like you have this connection now, but just rushing into things isn't going to work. Like, you need to build something. And Rob was like, "Oh, so you think I'll be able to do that with the Frey girl?" And she's like, "You won't know until you try. Bitch. But if you do this, it's going to ruin everything." And it did. Which sucks.
That's also the same lady that gave away her biggest fucking leverage, Jamie fucking Lannister. Which I'm like,
and bro, emotionally, I understand why she did. She wanted the girls back, but that wasn't the way to go about it.
Oh my
Rob
God.
had a good mindset initially for it, but I don't think either of them really were fully in the right with it. Rob's plan, long term, I don't think would have worked, but her did.
With her fucking kids. That's what I wish she would did.
I mean, but if you think about it in the long run, from what we've seen, it was the best decision because Jamie did uphold the vow to
yes
kids, and because otherwise, had they continued on their current course with keeping Jamie, they would have all died in the Red Wedding, and Jamie would have been set free, and then there would have been no deal to protect the girls. So it did work out for the best.
Yeah. Well, but if she had never given Jamie away, Rob might not have married Talissa. And then he might have held up her end of the bargain, because I think he pursued that immediately because, like, they had hooked up and were like flirty.
He was not going to marry that girl before she let Jamie go. They was just fucking.
They were, well, they'd only fucked once.
When she let Jamie go,
he only fucked her right after. He fucked her right after the shit with Kat happened because he was like emotionally distraught, and was like just
They
trying to
already like
find a
her
connection.
anyway.
Yeah. Which I mean,
When Kat-
they have great on-screen chemistry. Like I can't even lie. It's so good.
When
And
Kat
she
let
was
Jamie go, that was a domino effect of all. And I'm like, bitch, why you won't just stay at home with your motherfucking kids and be a mama? You out here with all these goddamn men. Bitch, go home with your kids.
And that was the other thing is that she said, "Hey, Rob, I need to go home go see the boys." And because she had let she did the thing with Jamie, Rob's like, "No, you're gonna do this."
Because Rob would
so-
have let her go home, but that bitch let Jamie go. And it's like, okay, so
Yeah.
what is your fucking plan now, Mom? You just gave away
Yeah.
my big piece of leverage.
But if she had gone home, would Theon and the Ironborn have killed her? Maybe.
Nah.
Do you think she would have been okay being there with Bran and Rickon though, and not like put up a fight or like had an issue with Theon taking over?
If Osha can hide somewhere she's not from with the kids, her being from there can hide with her kids. That's just what I think.
Yeah.
But too, because like this the thing, like, okay, girl, like I know you wanted your daughters back by any means necessary. You was trying to go with a plan, but like, okay, if we gonna do this, can we just like walk them across and give them away at the same time, bitch? I'm not sending away the favorite Lannister. I'm not doing it because who is to say y'all not gonna be like, yeah, I got Jamie. Fuck you, bitch. You ain't getting your daughters back. Like, why would it? And you know the Lannisters are not reasonable people. Like where, like
Tywin maybe, but Cersei,
like
no.
Tywin wasn't
No.
even at home. Where was he even at? Was he at home yet?
No, he didn't come till after the Blackwater thing.
yeah.
He was at Harrenhal.
Where in your mind did it make sense to sit like we not all sitting here with our armies? Okay, my girl's gonna walk across, Jamie gonna walk across. Bitch, you don't even know if he gonna make it. Bitch,
Yeah.
make it make sense. Oh my god.
I mean, Brienne was pretty. If anyone's gonna take him and get him there, it's gonna be Brienne,
Right.
and she
I
does.
love
But
Brienne, bless her heart. Oh yeah, wait, back to Brienne. Brienne be coming on too strong. Cause I fuck with her, but she be needing to chill. Cause the people she supposed to be saving, the Stark girl, she be scaring them. Like
You do.
well,
I know we gotta-
she didn't get there yet. But
I know, like the thing with Arya, obviously we're gonna talk about it, but like she literally scared Arya away. Like she could have got Arya, but like Brienne be coming on too strong. Relax, girl. Like
she also feels like she needs to prove herself constantly, which I mean, I get given her
Yes.
history, but putting herself in that position to constantly be fighting people is going to get her in trouble eventually if she picks the wrong person. Like when she first meets those group of Stark soldiers on the road with Jamie, and like that just shows you how big the armies are because they didn't even know what Jamie, like some of them didn't even know what Jamie looked like or Brienne. And they're like, "What are you doing with this guy?" "Oh, we're taking him, here."
They didn't have no cell phones. They didn't
And
have.
then they fought her because of it. And then I like how Jamie kind of like after talking all this shit to her, just like because he likes talking shit. At the second that she fucks those three guys up, like without breaking a sweat, she was like, "All right, I guess I'm not gonna just try to escape because she will fuck me up."
Because Jamie can fight too, so he gonna respect a fighter. He like,
Oh, fuck
she
yeah.
like better than me. Okay,
Yeah.
which she do. Brienne is undefeated.
Yeah.
So
And that was another thing with Jamie, with the like the honor side of things in the first season with Ned. Like he was having a very honorable one-on-one fight with Ned, and then that one random guard of his stabbed Ned, and then Jamie didn't finish the fight with Ned. He's like, "What
Jamie
the fuck?"
was over there-
and knocked him
Jamie
the
was
fuck
over there-
out.
Jamie was over there stirring up the fucking pot. Take your ass home. But Lannisters feel like they could treat anybody any kind of way and get away with it, which
Yeah.
they do. Clearly, they do get away with it. But
I mean, they've been getting theirs
No.
where you guys currently
Slowly
are.
but surely.
it's not. We need to restore balance to the universe. This shit is out of whack. God damn it.
He
Okay.
said the force is unbalanced.
This is not. No, the balance must be restored to the universe. The Lannisters must die. All the
God, it's so hard for me to not
say what
talk
happened.
about. Well, no,
Shut
no.
up.
It's fine, like avoiding 7 and 8 because we had to wait an extra year for that. But
I
with
look at
6,
it like this.
ugh,
We
just
lost-
watch 6. Damn.
We lost Rob and Kat. They lost Joffrey and Tywin. Jaime
And-
was tortured. So Cersei had her atonement, but of course Arya, Jon, and Sansa have been suffering too. But Jon got himself in his own position, so I can't count that. So Sansa and Arya kind of been suffering too in their storyline. So it's kind of just about even. But again, a lot of this shit should have never happened, and the Lannisters played a big part in all of it. So did Littlefinger and Lysa. So I mean, there's so much to it. Like everybody shares a good portion of the blame. Except I feel like the Stark girls, like they didn't do anything to deserve it.
Just save them girls. They never did nothing to nobody. No,
That-
see, this is my thing.
That's what pisses me
Balance must be restored to the universe, okay?
off. Mhm.
And it has not happened thus far. And just how the Targaryens fell, and then it's all the way down to one, I'm gonna need for the Lannisters to fall, and they go all the way down to just Tyrion, bitch. Like, that's what I need the show to end. Like I needed to whittle all the way down to just Tyrion. Fuck all of y'all. I do like Tommen though, so don't kill me.
Well, I also want in the entirety of the show, I want to see somebody else rule. I want to see what that looks like. It can't just be the
Daenerys.
Yes, like and don't make Dany the queen at the end, and I can't see it. Let me see
Oh.
somebody else on the throne. You know,
You
that's
know,
not a
bro,
Lannister.
listen, I understand that, like, plot armor, like, no, they will kill anybody. Like, I get it. And especially after,
will they?
yeah, like, my thing is like, for me, if they kill Daenerys, what was the fucking point of her entire storyline?
Right, because this is
Like-
own thing. I almost can look at it as a whole
She's
separate show.
literally across the
Like-
fucking narrow sea. We could just kept it Westeros, as they say. We didn't even have to go, like, bro, what the, bro, if they kill Daenerys, what, like, even if she don't become queen, I at least need her to get home to King's Landing and see that big ass fucking dragon skull, the altar that they got down there. Like, I need her to at least make it home.
Or at least
make,
I really want her to conquer the other side of the world first. Learn how to
and
rule
come
there,
over
get
here
the
and get
mistakes
Westeros
out the
too.
way, and then come over here and fuck shit up and try
Same.
to.
I want her to get all this shit. I want her to get over there across the narrow sea and come home to Westeros where your shit at, where they built your shit at. Your people built this shit. Bring your ass home. We know your daddy fucked up. You even said it yourself. He definitely earned his name, the Mad King. But I'm gonna need for you to come restore balance because your daddy was cutting up. So
Right.
it's time for Daenerys to. She need to come restore balance because her daddy was cutting the fuck up. In House of the Dragon, I know we're gonna get another season of it. I really, really, really want House of the Dragon to end when Jaime kills Daenerys' daddy. Because I feel like then I will have the whole story. Like, I want to see that so bad. The man that played Jaime, what do he look like now? He look old. Can he?
It's been a few years.
Huh?
It's
a few
been
years,
it's
right?
been almost
8.
15.
He
Oh,
can
since 8? Oh,
I mean, I'm
no,
just assuming he makes
since 8. Well, I mean, all of the cast were at the watch party.
How long had it been since Jaime killed the Mad King, the first episode of Game of Thrones?
Oh, from when he killed him to the.
The first episode of Game of Thrones. How long
It
had
had to have been a while because Robert ruled for a very
and
long
Daenerys
time.
was grown. So
So they would have to. They probably would recast because
Danny wasn't really. I would hesitate to say Danny's grown. Danny's not really. Danny's supposed to be about 16 when the show starts. But
oh my god, I thought she was 18, but okay, yeah, that makes sense.
no, because the Viserys, he was in King's Landing when all that shit was going down.
Mhm.
And so he was older than her, but
Of course.
so
The first
trying to
episode of Game of Thrones, how long had it been since Jaime killed the Mad King? They just going to have to cast a younger Jaime, goddammit.
I mean they probably will because
they would have
He-
to. I feel like.
I really want House of the Dragon to end all the way up.
Or they
until
have
then.
to do a ton of CGI shit with his face
Yeah, like-
and de-age
I don't-
him. But
like,
well,
what that-
Jamie was appointed to the Kingsguard at 16
Okay.
initially. And then during so I think the between the war, the end of the war and the beginning of the show, I want to say is like 15 years. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
20?
So he killed the Mad King when he was how old?
He killed the Mad King somewhere between 16 and 20, I think.
Well, clearly the
I
Mad King
think.
didn't know how to
They would
fight.
have to recast.
Well, I mean, you were told how it happened already. That the
Yeah, I know.
with
It was
Brienne, that the
all-
Mad King
Yeah,
was losing his mind, saying to burn everybody,
Burn all
kill
this
everybody,
shit down. Yeah,
and
fuck
Jamie came up behind him and stabbed him in the back. So,
all. Mhm.
I mean, when your right hand guy all of a sudden turns on you, I wouldn't say that necessarily means you don't know how to fight, but that you're not
forgot
very good at
about that.
trusting people.
Wait, so
That's why I have a lot more sympathy for Jamie, because when he was in that bathtub with Brienne and he explained how the Mad King was basically told Jamie, "Go bring me your father's head," because his father hadn't answered the call
Oh, I'ma burn
to
all
come
this shit
help.
down.
Yeah, he was like, "Your father's not coming to help. You need to bring me his head." And then the Lannisters show up to the gates, and the Mad King's like, "Oh, they're finally here to help." They let him in, and then they fucking take the city from them and turn on them and kill them all. And then that's when Tywin told the mountain to like go like make sure that none of the Targaryens escape because they're all like crazy and shit, which they were. But then the mountain went and killed all the Targaryen children in their sleep. And we hear conversations about that also, that like they went and killed all the Targaryen kids in their sleep. And that's why the whole scene with the babies and the Baratheon bastards kind of like, that's what Tyrion brought it up. That it's like, remember what happened to the Targaryen children? Oh, they were butchered in their sleep. And it was like a whole thing. And so you guys are not alone though. A lot of people, the main thing people want to see is the Battle of the Trident, which you guys haven't heard a ton about yet, but that's like the one where Rhaegar died, and that was like
have to put that in there.
Where Robert and Rhaegar faced off on the battlefield after Robert had just won like 2 or 3 battles in the same day. Was like full of.
I've heard this before.
Rhaegar's like
Dany's sister or Dany's brother.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The one that took Lyanna.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
The one that took Lyanna Stark. And that's why Robert started the war, was because he took Lyanna after the Mad King had burned.
Daenerys had another brother?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why do you think her dragons have the names that they do? Drogon, Viserys,
her brother,
Rhaegal,
and her other brother. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so I don't even give a fuck about all that. They could end House of the Dragon in that moment when Jaime stabbed the Mad King, and I'd be like, all right, bitch.
I mean, they'd have to jump really far.
No, I'm not talking about to just like do it now, because obviously it was like we are like
the end of the series in general.
Yeah, we like at a couple of hundred.
I don't know how many seasons they're going to be able to do. I mean, to be fair, the first season went through already more than 20 years. So
exactly. So can they please just end the show right when Jaime stabbed the Mad King? And I'm like, okay, that's how all this shit happened. I don't need to see everything in between. I just want to see when Jaime killed the Mad King and then end the show. Like, please, like I just want to see it. Like,
they have to get the major beats.
Because that's how they started the show, basically. But yeah, I just need to see the Kingslayer at work. I just need to see it. Oh, this was so good, y'all.
This universe definitely has my attention. I got to go through it slowly because they irritate me a lot. But
I'm hoping that you guys can finish this before, like, the main show, before, like, the middle of the year, like, before the height of the summer.
Because I'm watching a bunch of shit, Jack. No, I am, for real.
Why you say that?
Because there's so much shit that I have to tiptoe around.
Listen, let me tell you something. As long as they don't rape Arya, I will be able to continue the show. Like, if somebody that might be the, let me tell you something. I know it took me
So you were fine with Sansa getting the work.
No, I didn't like that. I didn't like none of that. But,
I'm not with none of the violence.
It took me 2 months after Sansa's wedding night. It took me 2 months.
I'm surprised that was harder for you than the Michonne stuff in the comics.
That was different because I didn't have to watch it.
You saw more there, though. You didn't see anything with the Sansa stuff. You just heard it.
No, first of all, anytime I see Walking Dead post the comics, that's all I think about. Like, it could be Carl getting his ass shot out. I'd be like, Jesus, Michonne and the gun. Like, no, that fucked me up. But if they touch Arya, a child, let me tell you something. Let
me ask something, Rick.
Nah, if they touch Arya, that'd be the way that I have to stop watching the show. Because they already killed everybody I like, goddammit. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
who's to say they won't introduce new characters that you like? You never know.
Arya, Tyrion, and Daenerys are 3 people that I need to outlive.
How do you guys feel about Tormund?
Who the fuck is Tormund?
The guy that looks like me when I have my beard.
the
wildling.
Show me a picture. Just show me a picture.
God damn it.
I'm okay with him now that they all made peace. Like, I have no ill will towards the wildlings because I understand they wanted to come over the wall and just live. Like, I'm cool with people. As soon as you said the wildlings,
now I know who you're talking about. Jack's long lost relative. Yeah, him.
Yeah, like, I'm okay because
he's actually handsome.
Like Mance had to die because he wouldn't stop.
So you want to know a perfect example of the beard does it?
Jesus.
Yeah, for a man that looked like that, he decent looking. He could look a lot worse. The beard do look better. It makes him like he's very much more manly with a beard. But yeah, the beard do it.
Huh, doo-doo.
Yeah. But I'm cool with them. Like, as long as they're not trying to come over here and fuck shit up, like, I'm cool with
I don't know. I liked his enthusiasm in 508.
I fuck him because at the end of the day,
Oh, John and Ygritte. We didn't talk about them.
that was in 2. I thought that was 3.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was in 2 or 3. That's why I never brought them up.
Yeah,
I know
when
he goes and meets the
he
Bones
kills
guy.
he kills Corin Halfhand. No, he doesn't meet him in season 2.
I
He
feel like
ends
that-
up one of the
Yes, he
last
does. I gotta
scenes.
list my phone
Nope.
now for 208. I thought
208.
Prince of
John was
Winterfell?
with that girl in season 2. I thought that was season 3.
John doesn't meet the king beyond the wall until 3.
No, not Mance. I'm talking about the one with the Bones mask.
Oh, I thought you said the bald one. Or I'm like,
No, I
don't
missed
know
the
anyone
Bones.
bald.
Then they call
Okay,
it the
yeah,
Bones.
no. But yeah, what? So
Wait, so John
that-
was with that girl in season 2?
they didn't bang in season 2, but they met in season 2, and John was supposed to kill her, and then he couldn't, and then they had to sleep, and then she was like doing fucking like pushing it up against him and shit, and she's like, "Oh, was I? I didn't
Oh.
notice."
I can't
And oh my
remember
god!
what happened.
And then fucking in the morning, she's like, "She pulled a knife on me in the middle of the night," and he's like, "Oh no!"
Let me tell you something. When I tell y'all, I knew
Let
from
me tell you something. Let me tell you
I
something.
knew I knew from the moment that John did not kill her that they was gonna be together.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It was
They
obvious
didn't
where
even,
they were going.
they didn't even get a chance to flirt. As soon as he didn't kill her, I said, yep.
She kept talking about it though. She's like, "It's so nice and wet and warm."
First of all,
She's like, "Do you know how to do it?" "I know how to do it."
no, you know what took me out when she would talk about how smooth he was after. I said, girl, leave that virgin man alone. Girl, leave him alone. He ain't never even seen no coochie before. Girl.
But shout out to her because she saved his life. So
She did.
I mean, he had to break vows temporarily at least, and
And
she
then she
got
tried to
him.
kill him later on. That bitch was getting on my nerve. I was like, pick a side, goddammit.
It was frustrating, yeah. But we gonna get into that. In other
When they met, I knew they was gonna be together. I knew John was gonna get him some wild and coochie. Honestly, that's a risky first timer to be going in raw. I understand.
I mean,
Yeah.
she seems like someone that doesn't just let anybody hit though.
She knew what she was doing.
She did.
She knew what she was doing, and she said, the way she said his name was always so cute to me. With her accent, the way she said Snow, I'm like, girl, Jon Snow. Like,
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
man. Damn, I forgot they met in 2. I thought that was in 3. Oh my, that felt like that was literally 10 years ago. I watched that.
I
It
know.
was 10 years ago.
We've been through a lifetime of events in just a couple seasons. Like it's
One
insane.
season is literally a lifetime of events to mine.
Yes.
Like literally, like season 1, it was like okay, but like 2, 3, 4, 5, they just keep raising the stakes. And I swear to God, if Daenerys, Tyrion, and Arya don't outlive this show, I will be highly disappointed. And I do understand that the
I won't make it to the end if they ain't. You can't.
If
I told them. I
somebody-
said I will move on to House of the Dragons and not finish.
House of the
I've already
Dragon will
threatened it.
not disappoint. You gonna be pissed off. You gonna be happy, but you was not gonna quit watching. House of the Dragon is so much better than Game of Thrones because it's more focused. It's not 30 million
wait to
people
see
all
it.
over the goddamn world. It's
Everybody hyping it up, so I can't wait to see it. That's like my number one asked question, like every week. Like House of
I'm
Dragons
a
win,
part of
House
the
of
people.
Dragons.
Literally. Every week
Tell
I
me.
ask you, and I just let you slide because you are watching 10 million things. So it's like,
That's why I said I will gladly switch if they pull some bullshit. John. So if they pull more bullshit, I will gladly switch and I will swap those damn shows out because I got too much good TV to be getting hurt every damn week. It's just too much good TV out there. Like I could go watch Sonequa, some more episodes of
man, because
Discovery.
I need to go see what Miss Martin
Right.
Green doing. I gotta tap.
I
into
love her so much. I say every time I do a video, I love Sonequa. She's amazing.
One
Go
thing
watch
about
this.
me and Tamaj, we gonna step for Miss Green and Miss Guerrero.
Yes.
Okay, my accent ain't hitting like
Love
hers.
that.
I ain't got the Zimbabwe accent, but I'm stepping for Martin, Green, and Guerrero. I love them when they're
Love
nice.
'em.
But boy, we've been on here going on 2.5 hours. We need to
Yeah.
wrap it up, sir.
Let's wrap it up. Final thoughts on season 2. Michelle, go ahead.
No, let me go last because I don't even. Matter of fact, let me go first because I ain't got no words. Jack is actually gonna have some words. Game of Thrones season 2 whooped my ass.
Next. So yeah, I was I think my major complaints in the beginning were the lack of battles, especially for Rob, because like I just knew he was gonna be getting in the battle, and like there were like scenes where like they show us like the beginning or the end of a battle, and I used to get frustrated. Like, when are they gonna show these battles? So I'll talk more about it in the next podcast. But like, I really wanted to see one of Rob's battles. The fact that we never got to see Rob battle at all, but that he won every single battle, still pisses me off to this day. Still pisses me off to this day.
But they showed us Lannister, Tywin coming in and saving the fucking day from Stannis. See, I'm getting mad at the Lannisters again.
But this season did a lot of setup for the future. I thought it was really well written, especially when you look back at it. Blackwater is still one of my favorite episodes. It was just masterfully done. The fight choreography was good. It gave you a real good representation of what a battle, the throne looks like. And we haven't had many of those type of battles. So it's been pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the season. I wasn't too hurt back then. So I definitely like the season overall. Go ahead, Jack.
If season 1 didn't set the tone, season 2 did.
Oh yeah.
Because that's when they got into murdering babies. And they hadn't done that so far in season 1. So season 2 let you know this ain't nothing to fuck with.
Oh yeah, I got more desensitized after season 2, but season 3 really just pushed me to the limit. Limit.
I'm literally gonna have to put you. We were gonna have to be forced to get off this bitch once we get to season 5. Because Jesus Christ,
we're gonna have to do our best to stay within the season and not go back a ton.
But that'd be the best part. We gotta.
I know.
You gotta connect stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Yeah, but since there'll be things we've already talked about, we can avoid over explaining or going into excessive detail when we've already done it. So we can talk. Oh, remember this thing? Here's how it ties in or whatever. But overall, I echo your sentiment about the battles. Though we did see a few more with this season. Last season we didn't really see any. We just saw, like you said, the tail end of or beginning of battles. And we had the one, with the hill tribes, with, Tywin, and how Tyrion was, rushing into battle and then he got knocked out. Nope, it's the end of the battle. Like, it was stuff like that I definitely feel was more a budget thing. Because once they did start choreographing battles, they were very good. Especially with, like you said, with Blackwater.
It's hard enough to do a fight scene, a war scene with thousands of people. So yeah, I do get what you're saying.
And that was one of the things I always heard about Game of Thrones, like the fighting and the battles. So
this is what it's about. Show me the fight.
Right, I had expectations coming into the show.
You guys have no idea what you're in for. No, honestly, some of the best choreography of the show has yet to come. So
I'm actually excited for that because I knew, like, once I started to actually understand the structure of the show, I said, okay, the battles are going to eventually come because they're not doing any in the beginning. So one of the best battles and episodes of the show is one you guys have not gotten to yet. So, and it's one that it's one of those where you get the ups and downs of emotion the whole time, but you still, it's not too much in one direction that you can't appreciate. Like taking a step back and looking at it from a production and like that type of mindset or standpoint. It's not one like with the Red Wedding where like the first time you watch it, you can't really think about anything else, even though the sound design in it was amazing. The build up and the tension was amazing. No matter how many times I've watched it, it still makes my heart race. And it's the same with Walking Dead with the Red Fair. Like the 701 doesn't get me as much.
Yeah.
Because it's a build up and it's one that it still gets you to this day. But
because this is the thing. It could have, the production does have a huge part to do with it, because if that shit would have just randomly happened walking through the woods, I would have been like, bitch, what the fuck? But the whole setup, it was so good. So yes, that is a big part of it. It wouldn't have hit me the same if the setup wasn't good.
Yeah. I feel like they did a good job balancing the characters and their, what episodes they were in and the episodes they weren't in. It wasn't perfect, for sure. There were a few times where I felt like some of the stuff, dragged on a little bit or didn't continue long enough. But I think that was fixed for the most part in season 3. I think season 2, they had a lot of things separated, but obviously as the season comes to an end, some of the characters are taken out or joined together, so we don't have to break apart as much, which is really nice. But I think overall I enjoyed season 2 more than 1 because 1 broadly set up what was to come directly in season 2, but I feel 2, although it directly set up what was to come in 3, it also set up broader stories that you could tell were going to be multi-seasonal stories, which I think 1, yes, and where I think 1 didn't do that necessarily. It did very broad stuff, like this is where each thing is going to pick up in season 2. 3, it did that, or not 3, the end of 2 did that for 3, but it also had a couple that you were like, I can tell that this is only the beginning of this particular thing, and so I think it expands on that very well moving forward, and so I'm looking forward to seeing. I don't know if I'm looking forward to rewatching 3, but hopefully by the time that we're able to do 3, you guys have been close to finishing 6. We'll see.
No. This is what I was going to say. I am not watching anymore. It's up to y'all because I have the most free time out of everybody. But I am not watching any more Game of Thrones until we film the podcast for 5 because I don't want to go into 5 and I've already finished the show. Like, I genuinely want to be on here like, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is how I feel right now because if I've already seen 6, 7, and 8, I'm gonna be talking about 5 from the perspective that I've already seen 6, 7, and 8.
True.
So
that's why I've been having to talk cautiously about it because I've been wanting to.
And that's
I know
fine
it's
for
some
me
shit
because
coming.
Michonne binges her shit, so she'll watch the whole damn season in a day. I have to do it structure. I do 2 a week, so that'll give me time to complete 6.
I will literally watch a whole season of Game of Thrones in one day.
I'm really hoping that you guys can finish 6 around the same time as each other. So that once you do the video or the reaction to that video I'm talking about, which once you get close to finishing 6, let me know because then you'll have seen all of the things that were snippets in it and I can provide the thing you need to see. And I think we could honestly do a podcast just about that video that whole thing.
I'm finna start uploading 2 podcasts a week because I'm watching too much shit. Like, this once a week is not gonna do it. Just this Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon shit is gonna carry on for a couple of months, doing once a week. So I am gonna start uploading twice a week. So yeah, because there's so much other shit. Because I need to do. Because I could do this uploading Monday because that's the day that these go up on YouTube. They already be on podcast platforms before then. But as far as YouTube, this will go up Monday, and then I could upload my one where I'm literally shitting on Tales of the Walking Dead. I'm gonna finish it. That's the shit that I'm about to focus on and watch. Like, I'm gonna so just start looking for 2 podcast episodes a week because I'm watching a lot of shit and I got a lot of shit to say. Tamaj, you should also more food because you finished eating in 10 minutes.
I couldn't even finish all mine. I ate like 80% of it, but there's still like a little bit at the bottom there because I had this bowl full.
I eat fast. When I was younger, I used to get in trouble because I finished, like, I would just get my food. They ain't even finish serving everybody else, and I'm done. They're like, did you even chew? Did you just swallow?
You're not chewing. You're not. That's why I be slow. I be chewing the hell out of my food. What they say in Matilda, chew your food, you're an animal. That's what he said in Matilda to his son. Please chew your fucking food. And bring more food and eat slowly because you was done in 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, so like, where the rest of it at?
I don't think you understand. I was starving. I couldn't wait to finish. As soon as you said, Tamaj, tell me what you eat, that's it.
And that shit was gone. We got to get out of here. Tell everyone where they can find you.
You guys can find me on YouTube and Patreon and any other platforms you're looking for me on. First Reacts. We're doing tons of shows. I'm about to do The Last of Us. I'm going to record that tomorrow.
Oh, I'm doing The Last of Us too. My reaction video to The Last of Us will be up by the time this go up, hopefully, because my shit be wanting to take 2 fucking days.
Jack, are you doing Last of Us?
I want to, but I'm like, do I have the time? And I've heard people be up and down about it. I have the game. I haven't played it yet.
So you already know what's going to happen.
No, I haven't played it yet. No.
See, this is the thing. My people have been asking me to play the Last of Us game for a long time, 1 and 2. And now that the show is out, I'm like, okay, y'all, I'm going to at least react to the show. And I will still play the game once I figure out a game streaming setup. But I am going to watch The Last of Us. And today is Sunday, January 15th, and it came out today. So I need to react to that tonight.
I got to work tonight, so I'm
it's
not
literally
watching it
in my
tonight.
notepad.
But I will watch it tomorrow, and I'm going to be off the internet so I don't get spoiled.
I
Thank you
tried.
watch that.
for bringing up The Last of Us, because that's literally in my planner for today. It was podcast with y'all and The Last of Us, and I need to upload a clip from last week's thing. I still need to upload that clip. I'm gonna do that actually today. But yeah, Jack, tell the people where they can find you.
Jack's World on basically everything.
Wait,
And
sorry.
you should say your name again because it lagged, so you didn't hear the name right at the start of it.
My name, Big Bro and Low Sis Reaction.
Yeah, it lagged a bit.
Oh yeah, and I got the season 2 comp of me and Michonne's reactions coming. It's coming, so look out for that.
Look out for the mutual disgust.
Go ahead, Jack.
Oh, that was pretty much just Jack's World everywhere, other than TikTok, where it's
Jack, what is the Patreon? Plug the Patreon.
It's Jack's World. It's Jack's World. But I have a very large catalog of stuff there right now. I'm working on getting this setup updated so I can get more stuff there. But since the finale for Walking Dead, I haven't put any other stuff up there because of how busy I've been. But there's a lot of stuff there that's not on YouTube because they like to copyright everything. Like Stranger Things Season 2 and 3 is up there.
Which is why I'm so
and all of House of the Dragon.
It did? Oh my god.
Yeah, I did that live.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking
I still have to finish editing my Stranger Things videos. I did those live too.
Oh my god. Every time you bring them
Those
up,
is a pain. And
yeah,
that was what I was
they
you.
are.
I'm like,
they're so fucking long.
Like, these episodes are long. Like
they're
the first one is like an hour and 20 minutes. I'm like, these are Stranger Things. I had to edit those in sessions. Like Game of Thrones is pretty long in comparison to other shows that I watch. So that I also do. I break that down into 2 sessions. So like that's why it also takes YouTube longer. So my Patreon gets the episodes ahead because it's just quicker for me to do that.
Mm.
They're on season 6.
Because all you doing is putting the footage on the video and uploading that shit. Oh, I love my
like this shit is long, and I got to go through each and every section because copyright is real, y'all. Y'all don't understand. Like you got to do it right, or you're gonna be doing it over and over, and I just don't got time. So I take my time and I do it right because I only want to do it once. And
you can find me at talkingeattv.com. I'm finna get off because this shit is literally finna be uploading until Monday night when it's supposed to go up. So, goodbye, everybody.
Later.